it looks great for this season. Yeah, lots of Jedis. There's that scene there. Yep. Maybe it's a flashback. I don't know. But Grogu, I was kind of annoyed when he got Grogu back because I'm like, I want to see the show stand on its own without him. But maybe I guess that's just probably what the show is. It needs to have Grogu in it. But he's doing the Force more. That's cool. And
I mean, it's a buddy comedy.
I know. Yeah.
And he's not an Ewok.
No, so that's true.
He's got that going for him.
Once he grows, though, we're not going to give a shit anymore.
Right?
It's
no one can.
Yeah.
So he starts talking backwards and everything like Yoda.
Yeah.
Be annoying as fuck.
Suck that will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're a geek, have a listen. Read up the news. This week's submission. Talking movies, games, TV, and comics. Turn it up. Feel the Geeks podcast. It's the Feel the Geeks podcast. It's the Feel the Geeks podcast. It's the Feel the Geeks pod. Feel the Geeks. You're listening to the Feel the Geeks podcast.
Hello and welcome to episode 200 of the Field of Geeks podcast. I'm Josh.
I'm Bill.
I'm Jonah.
And I'm Steve.
200 guys, we're here. Yeah. I feel so powerful.
Yeah, congratulations. I think I've been on like 6 episodes total, but congratulations on 200. That's impressive.
Still part of the group.
Yeah.
I can't even count to 200.
Well, I brought a little
Just
something
jumped from 1 to 200.
I brought a little something to commemorate the occasion here for Josh, since he's the guy that does all our setups and everything. This is a limited edition. It's not worth a damn thing, but you can have it. It's a Batman v Superman pint glass from Flick's Brew House.
Oh,
Dude,
nice.
You
Back in
don't
the day.
do that.
Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Very sweet.
Don't show that to your brother. He'll get jealous.
I know. He'll just break half of it. Like, I'll take the Batman. Thanks, man. You don't have to do that. That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you.
Very cool.
Display that a little bit there. That's
Put it in
cool.
front of the helmet. Come on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Jeez.
Might as well just
Right in
put it
front of your laptop. There you go,
It just
yeah.
takes up most of my room, which is fine.
Bring props, and this is how you do me? That's all right.
I know. I'm falling apart, guys. Falling apart. But yeah, 6 years old. The whole podcast is.
Was that part of your Salvation Army pickup?
No, I got that from when I was bartending there.
All right.
But yeah, our network has done has
that.
done 325 episodes.
Wow.
That includes the other shows.
The commentaries, the other shows, specials we've done. We've interviewed filmmakers like Terrell and, countless others. But yeah, hope to have more of that content coming soon. But yeah, thanks guys for doing what you do and keeping it going. You help keep it going.
Thanks
Even though if you're not always here, you're here in spirit.
Thanks for letting us be a part of it.
Well, of course.
Yeah,
I couldn't do it without you guys. So yeah, started with 3 of us, and then over time just grabbed other people. Like, come along. It doesn't pay.
So who were the original 3?
It was me, Mitch, and Al. I don't know if you ever met Al, but yeah.
Okay.
That was the beginning. That was like the first year, and then Al moved on. But he's always welcome to come back. And then we met Steve and Zach, and then they became regulars.
Yeah.
And then Megan or Joey and Megan after that, and then you guys. So. And we've had, countless guests on there. And so throughout the show, we'll have shout outs from these people. And they were generously, kind to do that for us. So pretty exciting. But yeah, it's hope to utilize all your talents in the future for original content, perhaps. Do some storytelling of our own and whatever else we want to do creatively.
Yeah.
So, aside from the news. But yeah. More commentaries coming. We got to bring those back.
I want to do some of the movie commentaries.
Yes.
That's what
it's
I
fun,
That'd be
man.
fun. I've never done one of those
Those are
yet.
great.
I think that'd be fun.
It's
I
fun.
love those.
Oh, The Room was a classic.
We did The Room,
Yeah.
and I had never seen it.
Yeah.
And so it was the first time
Oh,
doing,
man. It's our highest viewed commentary,
It was
too.
very, very well viewed on YouTube.
Right. Yeah. He got so bored he was playing a video game during it at
On my
times, right?
phone, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man.
Nice.
It was crazy. But yeah, there's so much good material out there. Check it out. Everywhere you look for podcasts, fieldofgeeks.com. That's getting a an overhaul. It's going to look better. It's long overdue. YouTube channel is thriving right now, especially since we went to video. It's very helpful. So got clips we're releasing, and I'm going to go through old episodes and find the best of. It's going to take me a bit. It's a lot of content. I mean, geez, if you took a week off of work, you still wouldn't have listened to everything we've done. Yeah. That's insane to think about. But yeah, it's been fun. And I
need to go back to the beginning and listen all the way to the beginning.
It's gonna be a little rough.
The only episodes
it'll be dated too.
The only episodes I cannot listen to are the ones that anything that I'm on, because I cannot stand to listen to myself.
Really? So, yeah. I can always change your voice in post. Like, hi guys. You know,
I thought you made me sound like sexy or something.
Oh, I could. Hey, baby.
Make him sound like Barry White.
Gonna make a drink for you today. Yeah, but yeah, thanks guys. 200, man. I remember when I think you were here for the 100, and I felt like forever ago. Obviously, the pandemic slowed things down, but we're here in person again, and it's incredible. So
well, cheers to 200 more.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
Here, I get my glass of water out. Cheers. I wanted to pop a champagne bottle, but
cheers.
I probably would have broke something. Yeah,
it may or may not be just coffee.
One of those Mickey D specials. But yeah, we got a lot of news to talk about today. Of course, the passing of Lisa Marie Presley. That was shocking.
She was so young.
Yeah.
She was.
Like 52?
56?
56, yeah.
Recently in the news for
still young.
something. Wasn't she like going through a divorce or something like that?
She's been married a few times. Nick Cage is one of her exes.
Yeah. And I know she was in the news recently because of the whole Elvis movie thing, the award season, and her and her mom were,
just 2 days before they had the Globes, and sadly, I think it's because Brendan Fraser wasn't there. Austin Butler won for his portrayal of Elvis. Not knocking his portrayal. I haven't seen it, but of course the award shows after that. Brendan Fraser's getting the accolades for The Whale. But luckily that night, Austin Butler got to go up on stage and win an award for playing Elvis and thanking Priscilla and Lisa Marie. And it was a nice night, looked like, and she did look a little frail looking back. So obviously has some health issues. But it was cardiac arrest, sadly, 2 days later. And I think they brought her back. And then in the hospital, she passed away. But Elvis's only daughter. It's crazy. And, of course, she had some tragedy. I think 2020, she lost her son to suicide. So
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. But she also has another daughter who's an actress, and forgive me, I don't know her name, but she was in Mad Max. She's one of the brides. Yeah. And she's done a lot of other things, but her legacy will of course live on. And it's just shocking, but at least Elvis is in the limelight again, so it's kind of a nice little tribute with that in tow. So, a lot of people are remembering her more for everything. She had a musical career in the early 2000s. She had a hit song. I don't remember what it was called, but it was a hit song. It was good. And she performed, she did a few concerts and here and there. But she will be missed. It's very shocking. Any of you Elvis fans?
Can't say that I am.
Yeah. Mildly, I guess. But
I mean, I'm not a fan per se, but he's such a... he's out there. He's just so much in the zeitgeist, and he always has been. Even like before the movie with Austin Butler.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily a fan, but he had a crazy life, a crazy career.
Yeah.
It's tragic what what's happened with the family.
Yeah.
I find it hard to believe, maybe a little bit. I mean, and weird that he's only got the one heir.
Yeah.
And that you've got this
that we know of, probably.
Yeah. So
I don't think he was faithful, but he had fun.
Yeah.
Rock and roll. Yeah.
But not a fan per se, but still too tragic to hear about the passing of his daughter, because again, she was young, and it's too bad.
Yeah. What about you, Steve? Fan?
Well, I grew up a little before you guys did.
No idea.
And
you grew up? Wait,
well, I was alive during this time. I wouldn't say I grew up. So actually, I'm probably regressing. So my parents, were big Elvis, that sort of thing. And, I remember we lived in Omaha. We were at my aunt and uncle's. I think it was me and my brother, maybe one of my cousins, and then my mom and my aunt. We were driving somewhere. and the news came on the radio that he had died, both my mom and my aunt started bawling. You know, so I mean, it was just that kind of impact, you know, from that generation. And,
right.
Yeah.
You know,
what year did he pass away?
77, wasn't it? I think.
Star Wars year.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how I remember, kind of.
And so, you know, I was 8 years old at the time. You know, so I wasn't really.
Right.
You know, music to me just wasn't really a big deal. You know, it was like whatever was on, and you know, I didn't care. But it was, and plus that was a disco era, so it was just all terrible anyway for the most part. But so not a big fan, but you know, certainly you can't deny his impact, I guess.
Yeah. Has any of you seen the movie? The new movie?
I have not. Terrell saw it. Liked it. Yeah.
I like the movie. The movie's good, and Austin Butler does a really good job playing Elvis, and Tom Hanks does a really good job with his role as well. And then the soundtrack's fantastic.
Sure.
They have a really neat way of blending like modern day hip hop with like old like soul music.
Oh, okay.
Cool. When you have these like flashback scenes.
Yeah.
And it's very cool.
Interesting.
How they do that. So the soundtrack's awesome too.
This is from like Laz Lerman, is that his name? He's
Boz Lerman, yeah, the guy that did
Romeo
Moulin Rouge.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would imagine it has to have a certain take of his on it.
It definitely has his style stamped on it for sure.
Right,
So,
right.
and I don't mean that's a good thing in my opinion.
Right. Yeah, I need to check that out. That's on HBO Max. So yeah, I was telling Bill I've kind of been annoyed with Austin Butler lately, but they've kind of clarified why his voice is still in Elvis mode, and I'm like, dude, you're not Elvis. Just stop. You know,
Is that just how he talks normally though? Or
well, the dialect coach said they trained so hard on it
that it was hard to
it's
get
kind
out of it.
Permanent now. So I hope that's true. Otherwise, the guy is an asshole. Like, dude, you're not Elvis. Stop it.
Yeah.
I would be really trying to get my other accent back quick.
Well, unless the next movie he makes is blue suede shoes, he's gonna have to relearn.
He's gonna redo the Elvis movies.
Yeah.
Oh God, that'd be crap.
Please God, no.
Remakes of all the Elvis movies from the past.
Oh gosh.
Hey guys, just want to say congrats on the 200th episode of Feel the Geeks. That is awesome. I know I've always had a lot of fun coming on there and talking to you guys about movies and comics and all that stuff. And I'm so excited to see where the next 200 episodes go. So congrats again, and I can't wait to see the future of Feel the Geeks.
Cobra Kai. Bill?
Yeah. It's a bootleg shirt. It's not the...
it's not licensed to merch.
Not licensed. No, you didn't pick that up in the studio.
No, Walmart for $6.99.
Nice.
So season 6 is going to be the final season.
Yep.
Now they are. I don't know if they've made any official plans yet, but they're still planning to continue the Miyagi verse past season 6 of Cobra Kai. I'm not sure how they're going to do that.
They talked movies possibly coming, or movie. I mean, it's Netflix. They make movies now, so it's possible.
Well, it's still going to be the same producers and everything like that.
As well as it should be, I think. They're the only ones that can really seem to handle what it is. Just have a nice level of humor and action. It just works. But yeah, the Hot Tub Time Machine guys put this show together. Yeah,
and I think 5 to 6 seasons is kind of about that sweet spot anyway.
Yeah.
Like Stranger Things, they're not going to continue past season 5.
Right. Kids are 30 now. They got to stop. So.
Yeah. Like you look at Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, the ones that have done well on Netflix or streaming or whatever.
Yeah. Don't want to outdo your run. Just finish when it's right. And I'm not too bummed. 6 seasons. That's a lot. And they got to explore the whole universe and expand upon it. Even make dumb things cool, like Karate Kid 3. They did a lot of retconning of that, and I thank them for it because it's just funny. Because I don't know if you remember Karate Kid 3. It's so stupid.
Very vaguely, just because I've tried to block it out of my memory.
Yeah, it's just like the Terry Silva character is just obsessed. Daniel Sung is like a teenager, and they're so obsessed with taking this kid down. And the nice way they retconned it in the last 2 seasons ago, I think, when they introduced Terry Silva again, is he's like, it was cocaine, man. It was the 80s. It's like, yeah, that's perfect.
Is there Karate Kid 3, is there a scene that takes place in the rain?
Maybe, yeah. Like fighting in the rain?
No.
Like there's a mountain climbing scene, I think, where they get a bonsai tree.
Yeah. Is that in the rain?
Maybe.
All right.
Yeah.
That's all I remember about the movie. Nothing else.
And how old Ralph Macchio was. Like, dude, you're not a teenager.
I don't even remember Ralph Macchio in the movie. All I remember is a scene where it's raining.
I just remember putting it in and like,
and there is a
laughing
bonsai tree
at it.
involved in at some point in the film.
Yeah. It's goofy, but luckily this show's been able to like fix a lot of those things. Yeah. So hopefully they'll be able to bring. I think they should include Hilary Swank in the last season somehow.
Yeah, I thought
she's pregnant right now, so I don't know if that's possible.
I mean, I thought they were kind of leaning towards that because she's technically still in the Miyagi verse,
right?
Like they wanted to include her somehow, or maybe that'll be a spin-off thing. Or
but
Miguel will open his own dojo or something.
All right, stupid question because I missed something. Was Hilary Swank in the Karate Kid movie?
She was in the next Karate Kid. After 3.
Okay.
So it was like a spin-off, or not really a spin-off thing.
It was the best one. No, I'm kidding.
Don't beat the shit out of you.
All right.
No, it was, so they wanted to do one more film. Pat Morita was actually involved with it. So he still was, her mentor or whatever, but she was another.
I thought maybe we were talking like $1 Million Baby was set in the Karate Kid world too.
No.
That would be kind of.
They brought her back.
That'd be serious.
No.
Clint Eastwood would be like, I want to get in that Karate Kid franchise. See what I can do.
But yeah, I think they're kind of going in the right direction with it because, Johnny Lawrence is getting ready to have a kid.
Yeah.
He's probably going to settle down and be a. Oh, shit.
I've not seen a single episode of this show. I was never a Karate Kid fan.
Yeah.
Like growing up. Like, I mean, I watched the movie. And thought it was cool that the old guy gave him a sweet old car, but
right.
And I practiced my crane kicks. Okay, who didn't practice their crane kicks after watching that movie?
Oh yeah.
But I mean, I was never a fan per se.
Yeah, I think I don't think you necessarily have to be a fan of the originals to see this show. It's just any of the silliness the originals had in it. This one, like
it was 80s slapstick.
Yeah,
I was kind of like that. But
like they make fun of like some of the things people like thought was ridiculous. There was a popular YouTube clip that came out saying that Daniel was actually the bad guy in the movie in the movie, and so they kind of played with that a little bit. Like Johnny had his own side of how things went down. So it's pretty good. It's
all right.
I think it's
I didn't give 2 shits about the Karate Kid back in the day. I mean, I saw the first one, and maybe the second one.
Right,
I never saw the third one.
I don't remember the second one.
I'd watch at least the first episode of Cobra Kai. I think you might get hooked.
Well, that's just it. I got hooked.
Oh, of course,
on the show. I mean, I loved it. It was great.
I'll have to check it out. I'm so behind on TV shows though. Overall, there's so many shows I got to watch.
Yeah,
same. Yeah, I've started some, and some I just binge. And
then I go back. I'll go back and watch something that I've watched before, just more for background.
Mm-hmm.
And then I get stuck watching again. Like I went back and started Fringe, all over again, and I just finished the first season of that. And there's like 7 left, or something like that. So
you'll be busy.
Yeah.
But
I was like, all right, got to make it like 2 movies for you. And just watch the movies.
Yeah.
Done. Yeah.
So I got to get caught up on that shit.
Yeah, I know. Same here. But yeah, it had a great run, and I think movies could come after this. I don't think it's over. It's Netflix, so it's possible they'll be able to continue on from here. So it's been on.
You can edit this out if you want.
No, leave it in.
This is my opportunity to talk about how much I hate comicbookresources.com.
Sweet.
CBR.com.
Yeah, CBR.
Yeah.
They are they're just the absolute worst of the worst.
BuzzFeed levels of.
It is nothing but
clickbait.
It's clickbait.
Yeah, because here's the headline: Cobra Kai canceled at Netflix after 6 seasons. And if you read the comments, it's just people hating on Netflix, and then you got the random person there saying it's naturally coming to an end. It wasn't canceled.
Right.
But this is just another reason why CBR is literally filled with probably the worst people alive. And if they all died in a fire, I would find that amusing.
Now, okay, so I don't visit CBR any longer. I still it'll pull up on like my Facebook feed, like a CBR page, and I may like it, or I'll see that you'll comment on it, or I'll comment on it or whatever. But I don't visit the site anymore.
Yeah.
It is still a site. It's still a thing.
Back in the old days, it was great.
There was different sections. In fact, I probably still have it pulled up on my phone just so I can access it. But like the old okay, like the old abandoned and forsaked column.
Yeah.
Like I love that kind of shit.
Right.
Where you just get like tidbits of like, comic history, things like that. They don't have that anymore. They still have the archives out there, but it's not like that.
There's stuff from like the early 2000s. It was really good, and CBR at the time was focused more around a message board community,
right? Yeah,
than it was anything.
I was active on the message board.
Yeah, so was I
back in the day.
But and now it's just clickbait. Everything's clickbait,
right?
Yeah. See,
which is why I don't follow 90% of the things that we talk about on the show.
Yeah. Right.
I'll talk about them on the show.
Yeah.
It's like having a fresh take of someone who just refuses to read.
Now, is Newsarama still a thing?
I don't know if it is or not, to be honest with you. Okay. I remember seeing an article from them about a year or two ago still.
Okay. Those were the two main sites that back in when we were making comics, those were the two main sites that I frequented for like my news and information.
Right.
Yep.
And I haven't visited either of those in years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mostly try to do Variety and Hollywood Reporter. Cosmic.
No TMZ?
No. Cosmic News, something like that, is bad too. It's really bad. Yeah. Like they always say, "Oh, see so and so's new costume," and it's just a rendering fan fiction.
Yeah.
Once you click into it. So.
New costume released.
Yes.
Yeah. From Joe Smith, who is 9 years old.
It's like Hugh Jackman when he was 5.
Lives in Arlington, Virginia, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, you got to be careful out there. But I didn't think it was really necessarily canceled. But it was just gradually coming to an end. Because
it was their plan.
Yeah. It's like they got a chance to write another season to finish it, to kind of bookend everything. And at least they get to do that.
Yeah, and I would rather, I respect any show that has that ability or does that, as opposed to where they have no end planned. Like, as someone who does like a little bit of like, writing, I always start with the ending. I write the ending first, and then I go back and kind of like fill in the blanks to get there. And you can always tell from a show that they don't have an end plan. I mean, hello, Lost is like probably the biggest glaring example of that.
Yep.
Where they didn't have an end plan.
J.J. Abrams and team usually don't have a plan for the end. They have all these great, concepts, but they can't
high concept. Well, and then I think with that show too, again, not to get off on a tangent, but they had what they wanted to do, and then as soon as the audience called it by like the end of episode 1, they're like, "Oh no, no, they're not dead. They're not dead."
Right.
So
it was all a dream.
Yeah. Ooh. Dallas.
Yeah,
Dallas. Bobby came out of the shower like, "What again?" Yeah.
So I'll have to check out Cobra Kai. So
at least watch the first episode. I think you'll get
it. It was really good,
and it's on Netflix.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. It started on YouTube Red back in the day. I actually
I remember that.
And that became premium, and then YouTube YouTube canceled them, I believe, after 2 seasons, and then
Netflix picked it up.
They shopped it with Netflix, and that was where they wanted to be from the start. So it worked out. Right. And then of course the pandemic ratings went high, so it's fantastic. Yeah.
Well, the guy, I'm not even going to, like we discussed, I'm not even going to attempt to, pronounce his name. But the kid who plays Miguel in Cobra Kai is going to be playing Blue Beetle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. Nice.
So, which I think he's a tremendous actor. He'd be a great fit for it.
Well, that's what that show does well, is like, usually when you have like second generation characters, you're kind of like, enough of this. Let's see the main dudes. And this is like, it's written so well, like you actually care about the second generation as well. So.
You say that, and it reminded me of this. So we saw the movie this week, and we'll talk about that later. But I saw the trailer for the new Creed movie.
Yes. Yeah.
And full disclosure, I've never seen a Rocky movie.
Oh, really?
I was a Rambo guy, not a Rocky guy. So I didn't care. Never seen a Rocky movie. I've never seen a Creed movie, but I saw the trailer for this new one coming out. It looks freaking good.
Yeah.
I really want to see it.
Right.
So
you probably could just go into it.
I think so, because it doesn't look like there's a lot from history.
No,
it doesn't look like people on a lot.
So, the trailer even explains where he's come from. He's like,
So this might be the first.
Wow, that's
Rocky
impressive.
world universe movie that I'm gonna.
Where would you start? What Rockies would you tell him to watch? Because some are like the first one's the best, probably, right? Most.
I would say
is there
4
Rocky movies?
There's 5. So technically 6.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would
skip
start
5.
I would do 1, 2, and then 6.
Okay.
And then the Creed movies.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
3, 4, and 5 are just very dated, conceptually and everything. And while they have some cool parts and all that stuff, 1, 2, 6 in the Creed movies. Those
Is
are actually
3 where
really
he fights Dolph Lundgren?
No, 4.
That's 4.
That's 4.
He
3
fights
is
Mr.
Mr.
T
T
in 3. Yeah.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't even know that he fought Mr. T ever.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Which one was Hulk Hogan?
That was 3.
That was 3.
Yep. That was
Thunderlips.
yeah.
Thunder Lips. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
They're all fun to watch, but yeah, I mean, when you get into like adulting, it's like, yeah, these are the ones that are really good. But yeah,
I might check them out at some point. It's not anywhere near high on my priority
You
list.
probably don't need to. I think you can go right into it, and maybe you'll be hooked and want to see more.
maybe.
Who knows? But
and the original Rocky won an Academy Award for Best Picture back in the day.
Stallone.
Yeah.
Did Stallone get actor or no?
I don't think so.
No, but he wrote it and
He
all
wrote
that.
it.
Yep.
He did the whole thing.
And they didn't want him, and he was like,
he insisted.
yeah,
Yep.
he could have got paid probably more maybe, and he's like, no, I want to star in it too. And
He got that gave him everything he's got.
yeah, it did. It sure did. But yeah.
Anyway, sorry, I
No,
digress.
that's cool, man.
Tangent.
You're a rarity in that department.
It's almost become such as, it's like with, my monthly poker game that I've never won. I almost don't want to win at this point because then I'll just be another guy that won. At this point, I'm like the only one that's never won.
Right.
Hey, congratulations, Field of Geeks, on 200 episodes. Well done, guys. This is Dan Upton from the Doomcast on YouTube, at the Doomcast on all social media. I remember meeting you guys at Wizard World in 2018 in Des Moines, a Comic-Con that is now no longer happening, unfortunately, but it was a blast. And get to sit down in the the little cube area that I had with the old Doomcast chair and BS about what got us started in geekdom in movies and comics and video games, and I think that was a lot of fun. I remember also being able to sit in with you guys a while back and talk Justice League, the movie pre-Zack Snyder's Justice League, the recut or remix for Zack Snyder's work. But hopefully we can get back together, have some good conversations, and talk about geekdom in the future. Here's to 200 more and 200 after that, guys. Thanks for everything you do from the Doomcast. Peace.
Movie TV news. Mandalorian Season 3 trailer dropped.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it.
I just saw it 20 minutes ago.
We just watched it, and it looked cool. Looked great.
You're fans, all fans of the show?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
definitely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very much.
The only thing, and this is just I'm not a Katie Sackhoff fan.
Oh, okay. Her casting.
Less of her, and
do you like the character though? She
the character's fine.
Yeah, it's from the Clone Wars.
Bo-Katan, right?
Yeah. I'm just not a fan of I can't put my finger on why.
Why?
Whenever I think of other things I've seen her in, like Battlestar Galactica, I'm like, it's a decent show, but I'm not a big fan of her.
Yeah.
As Starbuck. Or Longmire. Love Longmire.
Yeah.
But not a big fan of her character. I don't know. I just can't put my finger on why.
Well, maybe her helmet will help because she'll have it on.
Maybe.
That's cool.
Maybe.
Sure. Yeah.
But no, it looks good. So
it's movie quality. I
can't believe it's been as long as it's been since we had season 2.
It feels like
because
forever,
it does.
Well, then you had Boba Fett in there, which was
2.5.
Yeah, and that the latter half of that was definitely that Mandalorian series. So
Boba Fett, it could have been better, but those 2 episodes, I loved them. But I'm like, why are they in Boba Fett? This is
and if I go back and watch
hijacking a show here.
If I go back and watch Mandalorian, I'm going to skip the majority of rewatching Boba Fett, but just watch those last 2 episodes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then move into it. And I might actually just watch those last 2 episodes before this next season comes up.
Yeah.
I love them anyway.
I love that his new ride is the
Naboo Starfighter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give me a toy of it.
I know.
I don't even care if it's a hat. I mean, I'll crowdfund it.
Pretty crammed though. He can't haul anything really.
Right.
It's just but I'm sure we'll get to see it. Maybe he'll get a bigger ship eventually.
I would like to see him get a bigger ship because that thing seems cramped for.
Well,
I'd like to see him get
small.
the Razor's Crest back or something
similar.
Razor Crest or
There's a funny story
like an Outrider.
with Razor Crest in there. You just got the Lego set, and then the next episode was
so HasLab,
like that, right?
Which is Hasbro's crowdfunding platform, where it's like, hey, pay us X amount of dollars now, and we'll make this toy, and you'll get it in a year, kind of thing.
Yeah,
and I've done that with a few things, and I've not been disappointed in any of their products so far. But yeah, so the Razor Crest, it was crowdfunding for the Razor Crest, which everyone was stoked about.
Yeah.
And then like the day after, and I could be misremembering a little of the details, but the day after the crowdfunding ended, like right when they like take the money out of your account to pay for this, like the very next day, the ship gets just blown to shit, like on screen. I'm sure every fan was just like,
getting that fixed.
Like,
yeah.
And then a year later, we get this awesome spaceship that
doesn't exist anymore.
Does not exist anymore in the canon.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, you'll never see it.
It was like a Ford or Chevy of the universe, so there's a dealership out there.
I'm sure. There's got to be more than one Razor Crest. But that said, the toy is sweet.
Oh, I'm
If you guys have not seen it, have you guys seen it? I'll bring it to the next one.
Oh, sweet.
And
yeah.
we can. I'll share it with you.
Yeah.
Probably throw the GoPro
right on
inside of
display.
it and have
It
it see
is
everything.
massive.
Nice.
It's a big ship. So.
Oh man.
I just like the fact that it had like its own like carbonite system.
Yeah.
Like built into it. It was like made for a bounty hunter.
Yeah, like the greatest hits shelf. That was a good catch,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the storage locker with weapons. If you got like a little toilet area, because you never see that on like the Millennium Falcon.
No.
There's
You're
like
right.
shooter
Nobody
on the
shits
Millennium
in space.
Falcon. So.
Well, it's just like Star Trek. They just don't do that.
Right.
Yeah.
They took a pill
Nobody
and it
pees
just
in space.
they beam it out. That's what they do.
I would like to see him get a new ship, and like I don't know if you guys remember but Dash Rendar's Outrider.
Yes.
I would love to see that on the screen. Like,
I would.
give me something like that in action, because that thing was sweet.
Yeah.
It was.
Yep.
I had the old like Hasbro.
It was
toy
so
set
undersized.
thing.
It
Yeah,
was so small. The guy
compared
barely
to-
fit in the cockpit.
Compared to the Millennium Falcon one that they had.
Yeah.
That thing was huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. If HasLab was to do like another crowdfunding thing, and they're like, hey, we're gonna do the Naboo Starfighter. If it's cheap enough, I'd get that.
Yeah.
But if they're like, it's going to be the Outrider or the Ghost from Rebels, dude, sign me up.
Yeah.
I'll sell my soul for that.
I get annoyed because in
Not that I have one. I'm a ginger.
in Obi-Wan, they use the ships. There's that scene where they pick up like a few people. They use the ships from Empire out in the snow.
Yep.
And I thought that was kind of a mistake scale-wise. Because I'm like, how are they picking up 3-4 people? These fuckers just held 2 people in them. And it's like, out of all these other ships we've seen, the toy line, isn't that hard to scan it into the computer and like, CG that,
Right,
yeah.
But it's like, I hope we get a variety of things you've never seen that's just been a toy.
Yeah.
Like, that would
and
be
you get
super
a
cool.
lot of that like weird scale stuff with the toys, because if you remember like from I can't even remember which movie it was now. Was it maybe Rogue Squadron? The U-Wing that they have in Rogue Squadron, I think it is. Like that is like a cargo ship which is transporting people. And then the toy that comes out is just like a single seater fighter.
right,
which is cool, but it's just not the right scale.
Right. Yeah. No, it looks great for this season. Yeah, lots of Jedis. There's that scene there.
Yep.
Maybe it's a flashback. I don't know, but Grogu. I was kind of annoyed when he got Grogu back because I'm like, I want to see the show stand on its own without him. But maybe I guess that's just probably what the show is. It needs to have Grogu in it. But he's doing the Force more. That's cool. And
I mean, it's a buddy comedy. It's
I know. Yeah.
And he's not an Ewok.
No,
So
that's true.
He's got that going for him.
Once he grows, though, we're not going to give a shit anymore.
Right,
It's
no
like,
one cares.
Yeah.
So he starts talking backwards and everything like Yoda.
Yeah.
Be annoying as fuck.
Suck that will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got
But,
Carl Weathers, man. And
We get to see Mandalore.
Yeah.
that's going to be
that's really
exciting.
cool.
Because that's been talked about since the first season, right?
I'd love to see that, to see them do like maybe a one-shot series or something like that where they show like the Mandalorian War.
Oh, that'd be
Stuff like that. Like go
Be a
back
nice
and
mini series or something.
Yeah.
Like a movie or
But that's just because I'm a huge nerd, and I'd love to see history.
Oh, yeah.
like
All that
historical Star
backstory
Wars.
stuff. Yeah.
oh hell yeah.
Did you guys previously in one of the episodes that I may not have been on talk about Rogue Squadron being still a thing?
Perhaps. Yeah, with
Yeah, I
Patty
thought-
Jenkins.
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably,
because when she left Warner Brothers, she was like we're still working on the Rogue Squadron. I hope that happens.
Because
I really do.
It popped up on like my Facebook memories, me sharing how excited I was about Rogue Squadron.
That trailer was amazing.
Then, like,
or a teaser, yeah.
And then like as soon as it popped up, like that same day it was on my memories, it was like, not Rogue Squadron, not a thing anymore. And then like a week later, Patty Jenkins like, no, it's still a thing. So
yeah.
Fingers crossed, it is actually still a thing.
Well, and her dad was a fighter pilot, so I think she'll really have a lot of heart in it.
Yeah,
I hope, and
she has an affinity for that.
I think you could, especially that teasers they did. That was so cool. She's like getting the gear on. Yeah, you're like, what the hell? Yeah, that's what I want to see. Yeah, that looks great. So March 1st, Disney Plus, Mando season 3. Can't wait. Scream 6. We got a trailer. We just talked about the teaser like 2 episodes ago, and here we are with a trailer. It's like the quickest sequel since 2. I've looked up. Scream came out in 96 and 2 97, and this one's just 22 and 23. So back to back. You got Jenna Ortega back, Courtney Cox, a lot of other returning characters I'm not familiar with because I didn't see the last Scream, but. Steve's way behind. He hasn't seen any of them.
I'm a couple days back.
Yeah. Which Screams would you tell him to see? Like the Rocky thing.
Like I said, before we started recording, I love these movies.
Yeah.
Like even the shitty ones, even 4. 4 you could probably,
yeah.
But at this point, you got characters now that are coming back in from 4.
Yeah.
Where if you want a better understanding of who they are, you might want to just kind of struggle through through it. But
yeah,
I like bad movies. So
then you might love 4.
Yeah.
I mean, because they're not. And like I said, some people call it a guilty pleasure. I don't believe in such a thing. It's just a pleasure of mine. I think they're fun. And I remember seeing the original one in theater with a couple of friends when I was like a junior in high school.
Yep.
And it was probably one of the most funs I had going to the theater and watching a scary movie as a teenager. I mean, it was just a fun movie to watch in the theater when you're 16 years old.
Well, it's Wes Craven. You can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
And it was his return. His big return back in 96.
And so there's a lot of nostalgia behind the property for me as well.
Yeah.
And it made sense that the second one came out because it took place almost exactly a year later anyway.
College,
when they're in college, like freshmen in college. And the third one, I think... it takes place in Hollywood. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the movies are fun.
Yeah.
Even the bad ones are still fun.
Sure.
This one, I actually, after again just seeing the trailer this morning, I got really excited about it.
Yeah.
It looks good.
Doing something different, that's for sure. Like he's got a lair now. This Ghostface has a lair, like a bat cave for a serial killer.
Yeah.
It's like he's got all these outfits. Like there's a rogues gallery. It's like what's going on?
So I'm stoked for it. I'll definitely be seeing it.
It's got Jason Takes Manhattan vibes to it as well.
A little bit with the whole big city
the
thing.
subway. Yeah, and he gives like no shits. Like he just comes in the convenience store and he shoots the clerk. Like it's like this is different. So I wonder who it's gonna be, but looks like just from the trailer. Courtney Cox looks like she's gonna get it. I don't know. Maybe not.
Again, it could just be,
It's very obvious, but it could be a misdirect because it's obvious like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because,
Still, I think Gale Weathers is probably my least favorite character in the franchise.
She's been in every one of them.
I would not cry if she bit it in this one, but,
Yeah.
Is that the Courtney Cox character?
Yeah. The first one was such a game changer, though. Because
she's a TV reporter, essentially.
I mean, because I think it was pretty much the first movie where the characters were aware of the scary movie cliches, right? I think
it was very meta.
Yeah.
It would be like it's like a zombie movie recognizing zombies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which they typically don't.
I'd see the first one. You just try it.
Yeah.
I think you'd really like it.
And so the other thing too that is not terrible is there was an MTV series.
Okay, I never did see that one.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
It was its own thing.
It was its own thing.
Yeah.
Yep. Even the killer looked different. It wasn't the same ghost face killer.
Gotcha.
But
no connection at all.
But no, I mean, you get a little. I mean, it was an MTV show, so you get a little bit of MTV or like CW vibes from it. Yeah. But it's watchable.
Yeah, sure.
So.
Yeah, never did see that one, but yeah, that's exciting. It looks pretty good, and some of it looks kind of silly. Like I said, the ghost pad.
The ghost pad.
Like, oh, this is a billionaire killing people? Like, okay.
Ghost cave.
You got, Christian Bale's character from American Psycho putting a mask on?
Oh, yeah, Patrick Bateman.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be a reveal? Christian Bale. Like, what?
Just kidding. It's American Psycho 3.
I would not be opposed to that at all.
That was like half the budget of the movie, probably, just to pay him to be...
No.
Okay, well, next subject. This has been ongoing for a couple of years now. Jonah, Alec Baldwin.
Yeah, so Alec Baldwin was charged this week with manslaughter in the shooting death.
I had a
yeah,
my bad.
of was it the assistant director?
I believe so. Yeah,
shot and killed on the set of Rust.
Which, I mean, by the stills looked like a great Western. It could have been. It was a very independent.
I mean, is
project.
this movie still going to be a thing, or is
I don't know. Is it
dead in the water at this point?
Well,
it's tragic. I mean, what happened? I
he
mean,
settled with her husband and family, and then I think some of the agreement with the settlement was they would help produce and finish the film. So I don't know if that's going to happen now with these charges, because this is going to take time, for the trials and all that.
Right, and I'm wondering if they ever finished like principal photography on it, if
Not
they
all
ever
of it,
finished the shooting, or if they have to go back and do reshoots at some point. And so I'm not, because I've heard a lot of like different opinions out there on whether or not he should or should not be held responsible for this. I'm not an expert by any means.
Yeah.
I have relatively limited experience, both working on a film where a firearm was involved, and then even like stage productions.
Yeah.
But what I can tell you is, like, in my experience in working on like a film, as an example, it is everyone's responsibility. I mean, especially the people that are in that room or in that vicinity. So like the armorer checks the firearm. The assistant director checks the firearm, or the director checks the firearm. The actor who is handling the firearm checks the firearm and is shown that it's clear and safe and cold. And then the one example that I have that I was involved in personally is the actor who was handling again, director checks it, assistant director checks it, the prop master checks it. The actor who was handling the firearm checks it, and then me, who was getting pistol whipped by the firearm, checks it. I didn't even hold the gun, and I checked it to make sure that it was safe, so that I don't get injured by this thing. And so it's everyone's responsibility, in my opinion.
Yeah,
agreed.
To verify that what they are doing is safe. And I don't think this story is as simple as he picks a gun up off the table, points it at her, and pulls the trigger.
No,
as I've heard some people claim.
Yeah.
No,
but it is, basic fire. The basic 4 rules of safe firearms handling. One of them is always assume it's loaded. Don't point at anything. I mean,
don't point it at anything you don't want dead.
Yeah, correct. Right. Those are 2 big ones, right?
Yeah.
And then don't put your finger on the trigger until you're ready to pull it.
Yep.
And he initially claimed he didn't even pull the trigger and the gun just went off. And
that's where I started losing a little support for him.
I call shenanigans on that.
Yeah. I totally think it was an accident. Don't get me wrong.
Which is why it's involuntary manslaughter and not second degree murder or
he's a
manslaughter.
producer on the film too.
So whereas
it was chaotic on the set.
I don't think he meant to hurt anybody.
No.
Or kill anybody, but he does have a responsibility.
Yep.
I also, as
a veteran actor,
as someone who's
firearms before,
a big proponent of like firearm safety and the Second Amendment and responsible gun ownership, I believe that I don't believe in accidental discharges. It's negligent discharges.
Right.
Like, the gun's not going to go off by accident, but it's going to go off by negligence.
Exactly.
And if that negligence results in killing somebody, whether it is a car, or a firearm, whatever it may be, there is some role of accountability there by that person. So I think he should be held
because guns don't just
for
sit on a table and pull their own trigger.
Correct.
Right.
So I think he should be held accountable. Now that said, and again, I'm not a legal expert. I don't think he's going to see any jail time in this. It's probably going to be a deferred sentence, or it's probably going to be probation.
You have a good lawyer too.
So I don't think Alec Baldwin's going to jail by any means.
No.
I wish that he would.
But there is
and I think that
some accountability there.
Martha Stewart went to jail, crying out loud.
Yeah.
For tax or
she didn't kill anybody.
No,
right.
She didn't.
I think state law or something like that was like a minimum 18-month sentence or something. I don't think he's going to serve a day of that.
Yeah, that's just for that charge. Yeah, 18 months possible.
Yeah, I don't necessarily see him doing any jail time. I could be wrong. Again, I'm not an expert by any means. He could be fully acquitted. of any wrongdoing, because there might be people on the other side of it that say, hey, no, it wasn't his responsibility. It was this other person's responsibility who was also charged.
Yes.
He's a producer.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean,
he handed him the gun and said it was cold.
And he's such a flaming douchebag that,
the
whatever
producer,
happened.
No, he's talking about Baldwin.
Alec Baldwin. I'm sorry. Yeah.
He is a douchebag, but
yeah, I don't know.
Great actor, though.
Hey, he's still the best Jack Ryan around.
Yes. I 100% agree. 100% agree. Yep.
Yeah, I'm not a
Yep.
fan of his personally by any means.
Right.
I've never met him, don't know the guy.
Yeah.
But I do know, and I don't think it matters if it was Alec Baldwin or anybody else.
Right.
That person should be held accountable for what they've done.
Like initially, it was mostly the haters are like, or the cold-blooded haters like, yeah, you should, because we didn't know what happened, and there was photos of him like, I mean, that had to fuck him up.
Yeah.
But then you get into survival mode, and that's when he was foolish and did I didn't kill her.
The other thing too is, and I don't know if because I don't work in Hollywood, I don't know if there are any set standards and practices that they have to follow from an insurance perspective. I would like to think that there are.
I believe there are.
And I know that there are situations where there may be live ammo on a set if there's like stunt work involved or whatever the situation may be. But again, I think it's everyone's responsibility who picks up that firearm is near that firearm, verifies to make sure that it's safe. And he just didn't do it. He didn't do that.
He didn't check.
He didn't check it.
Yep. And it was I
don't even think they were filming. It was a rehearsal, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they're doing that
no
classic
reason for that firearm to be loaded. Yeah. It shouldn't have been loaded with anything, in my opinion.
Right.
In that instance,
they were testing the camera. Yeah,
from
I believe
the time I spent in the military, right? It became a point of like muscle memory or just like automatic, before you hand a weapon to somebody,
check it.
Check it. As soon as you get a weapon from somebody, you check it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing that bugs me the most about this is he said, like, in that interview, I never even pulled the trigger. And then come to find out, like, now it's come out that, he was test firing it or something. Granted, you know, somebody said cold gun or he assumed whatever. You shouldn't make an assumption when you're handling a freaking firearm anyway.
Right.
But don't point it at somebody and pull the trigger if you're just going to be messing around with it.
Right.
I mean, there's horror stories I can attest to that I'm not going to say here, but
sure.
It doesn't matter if you think it's loaded or dry. You don't point it at something you don't want to die and pull the trigger.
And I don't know if anyone in here, Bill, maybe has ever been like flagged by a firearm. Like
Yes.
even if you know it's cold, it's a disconcerting feeling to have. Because I've taken people like to like a shooting range and they're like, oh, was that good? And they're like,
Yeah.
And it doesn't,
Exactly.
even if the slide's back and it's, mag's empty,
Shit.
it doesn't feel good.
No.
And so, I agree.
Change your
That shouldn't have been a thing anyway. It shouldn't have been a thing anyway.
It's impending doom is what you feel, right? Yeah.
And I know some people were trying to draw comparisons to the Brandon Lee killing in The Crow. And it was a little bit of a different situation.
That was
because
very gross negligence.
It was. And I know, Massey, the actor who pulled the trigger or whatever, he was never charged.
Yeah.
But I know it fucked him up personally too, from what I understand.
Of course it did.
But it was a different situation because, the gun had, I'm probably going to get a detail wrong here, but the gun had previously been used and they were using, quote unquote, dummy ammo, but it had like actual bullets. And what happened is a bullet had ended up getting lodged in the barrel of this revolver.
Yeah.
And then when they were using it in the Crow sequence and they loaded it with blanks, which doesn't shoot anything necessarily, but it has the gases to propel something out of the barrel.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened.
Right.
And so it was a different situation.
Yeah.
And again, different time too, I guess, because that was what, 93?
Yeah.
And I'm assuming maybe, standards and practices had changed a little bit since then.
I'm sure they did. Yeah. I mean, I've few people I follow that actually in the industry have like attested and it's just going to get stricter now. Some people are just going to use, computer aided technology to.
They already do that a lot. And I hate that because it looks fake.
Right.
And again, as somebody I'm not a gun nut.
Yeah.
But I am particular to like details of certain things.
Yeah.
And if I see a muzzle flash, but there's no slide movement, like my eye's drawn to that.
Or no like recoil.
Right. Yeah, my eye is drawn to that. I'm like, all right, that looks too.
You got people like hold them all fancy, like,
Yeah.
I don't even care about that necessarily. I mean, Pamela Anderson can do that in barbed wire all she wants. I don't care. But yeah, there's things that like my eye's drawn to, and that takes me completely out of the experience with that. Just like CGI blood.
Right.
Like, give me, give me blood packs.
RoboCop blood.
Yeah.
Makes you just almost throw up. Yeah. Well, and also the armorer was like a 24-year-old, and it, by most accounts, seemed reckless herself. I guess there was live rounds mixed with dummy rounds discovered. From the people I follow that are in the industry said that actors have actually killed themselves with blanks goofing off, not realizing they put it in their temple and they shoot, and it's like it still projects.
Well, again, there is gas pressure that comes out of
and it, like,
that round.
You can kill somebody with a blank. Right. It's not a safe form of ammunition.
Yeah. So I mean, usually if there's a scene involving something up close, like shooting near somebody's head, I mean, it is usually a rubber prop or a complete dummy. I mean, they're not typically shooting off blanks anyway next to somebody's head.
Right. Well, unfortunately, this shot was like one of those classic camera shots where you shoot like right at the camera, get that effect, and of course that's where she got hit in the torso, and then I think it was a assistant he got hit in the shoulder,
like a ricochet,
I think, or it went through and hit. I'm not quite
whoever
sure.
was behind him.
Yeah.
It's tragic. It's too bad, but it's tragic. But it's one of those things that was completely preventable,
right?
By better standards and practices, or adhering to whatever standards and practices that may be set. Again, I don't know. I'm no expert.
Right.
If not, there should be.
There's also a charge of enhancement for use of firearm, and that's a mandatory minimum sentence of 5 years. So
because of the accident, because of the involuntary manslaughter involving a firearm,
but he'll have great lawyers, I'm sure. But his career, I don't know. I mean, maybe down the road, but I don't know. When he did that ABC interview, I was just kind of
he'll be hosting SNL in no time.
Well, yeah. I mean, if he was on now, imagine what they'd have to do. But I don't know. It's a tragedy, and I don't think anyone should think he's a cold-blooded murderer, but definitely when he went to survival mode, that was like, dude,
just because you're a douchebag doesn't mean you're a heartless killer.
Right. Yeah, I think that's what some people need to realize, but. Yeah,
but it also doesn't mean you shouldn't be accountable.
Oh, well, absolutely.
Correct.
Yeah, exactly. Because there was actually disgruntled employees on the set too that weren't paid. The conditions on set were not great. They said
they weren't.
Before, like people were quitting, and so you were probably getting more careless people. I mean, I heard this Colt 45 they're using was used earlier that day for actual real target practicing. So it's like, here you go, take it. I
don't know.
Real bummer.
There's a lot of, I don't think any malicious intent was ever put into this, but there's a lot of negligence.
Right. Yeah. And he should know better. He's a veteran. Like somebody
needs to pay for it.
Right.
Yeah. Just careless.
Somebody needs to be held accountable for it.
Agreed.
And perhaps he just got too comfortable because, he 40-year career probably almost.
You know what?
Many guns he handled.
I don't care if it's your first time picking up a firearm or your 500th time picking it up. You should know what the hell you're doing.
Yeah, and one thing too, again, not to get super preachy about safe firearms handling, but don't ever get comfortable with it. I mean, know what you have and how to use it, yes, but don't get comfortable to the point where
you're complacent.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
And this is somebody, I mean, I will oftentimes carry regularly, and I'm never complacent with it. I'm always aware of it.
Yeah.
Where it's at.
Right.
What it's, whether or not it's safe.
Right.
So complacency is a killer.
Well, it's a good wake-up call for any other actors out there who are just thinking they're like Nerf guns, just like, no, dude, this is serious shit, and if it goes south, it's your
or
ass
productions that have been complacent, production companies, things like that. It's just it's a wake-up call. It's just a sad wake-up call.
Right. Unfortunately, yeah. I mean, she leaves behind a daughter, and the whole thing sucks. But got to do what they got to do. So I don't know if we'll ever see this movie. I heard it was like, going to be something good, but I think there's just so much dirt on it now. It's like,
there's going to be this stigma around it that's either going to really hurt it, or maybe help it. I don't know, but it's definitely got a stigma with it that's, in my opinion, not. They say there's no such thing as bad publicity, but I almost disagree with that.
It'll be a train wreck type movie where the people that want to see it are interested in that piece of it.
It's not like it's not like the bad publicity of Velma, where everyone's like, "Hey, it's terrible," and then everyone's like, "I want to see how bad this is."
Yeah,
so watch it.
Well, we do have someone who did, so we'll get there.
Field of Geeks, hello. This is Chris of the Camille Corp and also the Doctors Who podcast. 200 episodes is a great achievement. I think about that number and it just blows me away. You guys have been at it a long time. You put out some great content. I remember when we realized that there was another geek-oriented podcast in the same town as we were. The prospect of collaborating was exciting, and I know we had you guys on our show and we were on your show, and I thought that was a lot of fun. I thought we jived really well. I thought we really interacted and played well off of each other, and here's hoping that in the future we can continue to collaborate. So as you record your 200th, I just want to say congratulations from the Camille Corp, from the Doctors Who podcast. Keep doing what you're doing, and here's to 200 more.
Well, moving on to something happier, of course. Bill, we got some returning Power Rangers.
Yes. So the 30th anniversary of Power Rangers is coming up here. Once and Always is the title of the project. It's going to be out later this year on Netflix. Some of the original cast are involved in it. It was actually organized originally by David Yost, who plays Billy Cranston, the Blue Ranger.
Wow.
And fun fact for all of us Iowa natives, he was actually born in Council Bluffs.
Nice. Represent.
Yeah.
Council Tucky. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's
we can have him on now. Thank you.
That's practically Iowa.
Yeah.
I live in Council Bluffs, so I can make the joke.
Okay, then we'll have him on.
So he's
you make the deal.
Yeah.
Making his return to the series. He left after the, I want to say, third season, which would have been Zeo.
Okay.
So he left. There was some pay disputes / very bad behind the scenes stuff was going on there.
Yep.
But they they wanted to recreate the like morphing sequence for the original 6 Power Rangers, right? And so like going back through this, Austin St. John, who played Jason the Red Ranger, he can't leave the United States because he's in some hot water there.
Yes.
Of course, and this was before he passed away, but Jason David Frank actually declined.
Oh, he did?
To come back, yeah. Because he's been back for like the last 2.
Oh.
Like the 10 and 20.
Just thought it was oversaturation, maybe.
He was like, I want to give the spotlight to somebody else.
Yeah, sure.
He kind of had, of course, hindsight being 2020, he kind of had his own things he was dealing with. Like
right.
With his marriage and stuff. Amy Jo Johnson, the original Pink Ranger, she declined to come back as well. And then, of course, tragically, Thuy Trang, the original Yellow Ranger, she passed away quite some time ago.
Car accident.
Yep. So coming back, we've got Steve Cardenas coming back as the Red Ranger Rocky. Walter Jones and Johnny Young Bosch are coming back as the Black Ranger. I don't know how that's going to work. There's going to be 2 of them. That's cool. David Yost, of course, coming back as the Blue Ranger.
Nice.
Karen Ashley coming back as the Yellow Ranger. Catherine Sutherland coming back as the Pink Ranger. Supposedly Trini's daughter is going to be in it. Cool. Not as a Ranger, but...
Right. Not yet, anyway.
And then for the Green Ranger, it's kind of to be determined. Now, there's been this kind of petition from fans and from the person herself, but Jenna Frank, his daughter, wants to play the Green Ranger.
Oh, wow.
Which she actually, like, there's kind of like some fan art of, like, what a female Green Ranger would look like, and I think it would be perfect. I mean, she's got the martial arts training and
of course,
stuff like her dad. So, and I think that would be a perfect tribute to him as well. But
sure.
Yeah. And then Barbara Goodson's coming back as Rita.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's not I have to kind of clarify this. So she was the one that did the American voice for Rita, because like in the first few seasons or whatever, they had like
Japanese
the bad
footage,
the bad dubbing and stuff like that, and then she played the American version of Rita, like the live action version of Rita in the series. So she's coming back.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is going to take place, I think, kind of between seasons or something like that, but it's going to be like a special tribute thing.
Nice.
So yeah, it'll be great to see kind of some people come back. And
so is it like an hour-long special, or
that's what I'm assuming. It's going to be like kind of just like a one-off kind of deal.
Yeah,
I think it's going
it's
to be
great to see them back, and they look pretty good still.
Yeah.
Power Rangers is one of those franchises that has so many different iterations.
Yeah,
like I get so confused by.
Oh yeah, and
what's what?
Well, and even before the first Power Rangers that we had back in the 90s, there was even, because based off of the Super Sentai series and
it was the footage they used for the American version.
And Mighty Morphin Power Rangers to us is like season 10 or 12 to them.
Oh jeez.
So like they've had so many, like it goes back to like the 60s and 70s. Like they've got
holy shit,
so many iterations out there. But yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be cool.
That looks great. Yeah,
be a good nostalgia thing. I'm super pumped for it.
Yeah, Yeah, same.
And what's that going to be on? Streaming on?
Netflix.
Netflix.
Yep.
Holy shit.
So, of course, they have their. They kind of have their new deal. Hasbro has their new deal with Netflix.
Right.
And they're going to move Power Rangers. Moving forward is going to be on Netflix versus like Nickelodeon, I think it was.
Oh wow. Yeah.
So
I knew it as Fox Kids growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even back then, I was like, "Why is the footage grainy when they show them fighting?" And then it was like maybe 10 years ago. I was like,
it
what?
was like
that was another show.
It was like, because I was fully aware when I was that age. I was aware of things like Ultraman. Existed, right?
Yeah.
And so it'd be like, why am I watching like Ultraman and Saved by the Bell, like kind of spliced together? It was very strange,
but cheap. I mean, kind of a good marketing.
And it worked. It worked. I mean, if you look at how big it has become in the United States, because of that, what I think look at is probably really smart to have done is take stock footage that already existed. And then you kind of splice it with newly filmed things, but they did it relatively seamlessly.
Right.
I mean, for for the time. And so it was really smart what they did, and it created I don't know what the franchise is worth at this point. I mean, are we talking billions of dollars?
Probably.
Yeah. So what's become
especially with licensing and everything attached, right?
Yeah.
Well, and we actually have Stan Lee to thank for the fact that we even got Power Rangers in the first place.
Really?
Yeah. So he, of course, the Spider-Man, like the Japanese Spider-Man series, is kind of what kicked it off.
Yes.
Like the giant robot defending the city thing was very popular, and like the Sentai genre was popular over there. So yeah, him working with Toei is kind of what helped us
return the favor, kind of.
Right. And is it still owned by? Is it Saban?
I don't think Saban actually owns it anymore. I think Hasbro owns it.
Hasbro owns the property now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, and Super Sentai, does that even exist over there anymore?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
but it's not at all what we have. I mean, ours is kind of independent now, right? Even the footage is independent now, right? We do our own.
Yeah. Like a lot of the footage, the CGI, stuff like that is all done here in America.
Cheaper
now.
to do now, probably.
Do like the stock footage anymore.
Wow.
Yeah, I was going to say something now. I completely forgot what it was.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
People.
But yeah, I mean, it's huge franchise. I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon.
No, I mean, it's been going, well, geez, when did we first get Power Rangers here? It was 95?
95, I think.
Wow.
See, it felt earlier to me than that, but that makes sense.
Right.
Like 90, yeah.
I always thought it was like 92 or
I was big
93.
into Turtles, and they kind of had the turtle colors with the, with the bandana or the uniform, so they had that nice attraction there. Everyone had their Ranger of choice.
I remember what I was going to say on it now.
Yes.
So I actually went back and watched the Japanese version that Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was based on.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was like kind of adultish, I guess. Like not,
right,
not too bad. But I mean,
sex
you can get a
a lot of scissoring between the yellow and the pink ranger.
The sword forming.
That was their special maneuver.
They scissored
Mighty Morphin.
So
big swing over the city.
But
I'll stop.
No, you're fine. But actually, I always thought that it was funny because the Yellow Ranger in America was a chick,
yeah,
and Japan was a male,
right.
Which I always found weird because in one of the episodes of the stock footage, like the Yellow Ranger is like going to pick up the Pink Ranger off the ground and has a huge erection. And I'm like, there's no way that's a chick.
Was this in the middle of a battle?
Yeah, I was like picking that up.
Yeah, it was so it was a fear boner. It happens.
Yeah. Hold on.
But yeah, like the Green Ranger freaking dies in the Japanese version.
Oh, really?
So,
yeah.
But
is that why they had to switch to a White Ranger here? Or
no, that was actually from a totally different series. That had
okay.
Fear Boner was my metalcore thrash band. So
Fear Boner.
I played the Vibra Slap.
Between that and in the the ska
blot.
Band you were in with the
spray and blot or whatever it was.
Oh my goodness!
Sorry.
Oh dear God!
There goes a Hasbro sponsorship.
Yeah.
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Yeah. Damp soapy
back.
towel and blot.
Damn
soapy with the ska band.
Let's freaking go!
It's erection time. Yeah.
It's erection.
He didn't even bother.
Brought to you by Pornhub.
So, all right, what are we looking at on the table here?
Okay, so this is the Blue Ranger Lightning Collection.
This is the helmet you got just recently.
Yes.
And have you got it to fit on your head yet?
God, no.
Okay.
My head's way too big. So it's got this adjustable thing in it, and
it does look small, doesn't it?
I could get it to.
So it pulls apart, right?
It's like magnetic, so it pulls apart. It's got this little.
Oh, cool.
All right.
Very cool.
But if I get it to adjust to my head and then go to put it on, it goes to like there.
You almost need
so from the front, it looks okay. But
like a seatbelt extender on an airplane.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
A head extender.
Yes.
And then, or like a dining room table. You've got the actual leaf.
The leaves.
Yeah, the leaf to put in it. There you go. Yeah. And then
still a cool piece though, having your
Lightning Collection Power Morpher.
Nice.
Of course, has like all the little voice acting crap in it. 200 episodes. Can you believe it? I can't believe it. Hey everyone, Bill from Field of Geeks here, also known as Billy Creston on YouTube. And I cannot begin to tell you how excited I am to hit 200 episodes of the Field of Geeks podcast. Like many of you listening, I started out as a big fan of the show. Now I've known Mitch, Josh, and the other but equally as important Billy since high school, and being a fan of the show, of course I wanted to find some way to participate. That all started roughly 3 years ago with episode 130, which seems like a lifetime ago now. But that episode will always hold a special place in my heart. It was like a mini high school reunion. And instantly I was hooked on being a geek. So soon I got to meet the other members of the Field of Geeks podcast, like Jonah, Megan, and Steve, who was generous enough to lend me his epic voice for my channel intro for a little bit of time there. Since then, I have participated in roughly 30 episodes, some reviews, even had an opportunity to go to Des Moines Con and meet Zordon, which was really cool. We've had plenty of laughs, we've mourned some celebrities that we've lost, and we've discussed so much cool nerd stuff that I can't even believe I'm part of this. It's just wild. When Josh generously offered to make me an official geek, I was hugely honored by that, and I cannot possibly thank him enough for doing so. I sincerely want to thank you all for taking this journey with us. It has meant so much to all of us, and I'm very much looking forward to the future of this podcast and the things that we will continue to bring you in the future. And I will leave you with the immortal words of the legendary Stan Lee and just say, Excelsior! So it actually changes you can kind of see like it's blue and everything. But it actually like changes colors in here with the different coins you put in.
Okay. Right.
So yeah, it's kind of cool. And then this was just some little
they've always been huge with like the role playing toys.
Sweet. Yeah.
Like
yeah. Yeah, I remember I had like the whole collection and stuff like that when I was a kid, and it was all like cheap, foam plastic and
my son,
stuff like that.
Even my son, I mean, because again, I think at this point, several different generations have had their version of Power Rangers.
Yeah.
It might be the original Mighty Morphin Power Ranger, Turbo, whatever it may have been.
Yeah.
But yeah, he had like tons of like knives and swords that they were cool because they would like connect apart to make bigger weapons or break down, and they made noises, and he had tons of that shit. So
I mean, this is like stuff that I wish we had when I won't say when I was a kid because I was like a teenager.
Yeah, I was like, should I be watching this? Like, it's kind of cool. Yeah, I know.
I don't care.
If you weren't, you wouldn't be on a Field of Geeks podcast.
That's true.
Right
yeah, that's
everyone
true.
gave me shit for it. Yeah, and now Power Rangers is popular, so
that's why you're secret about it until like pop culture explodes, and you're like, I get to. Yeah.
Right. And see, I was never like growing, even as like a teenager, I was never really super secretive about my nerdy shit. Like it was, it was pretty much just like,
right.
Hey guys, I'm going home to watch Transformers.
That's because you were armed.
Whatever.
You weren't gonna fuck with you.
At the time, I was not.
Say power of God and anime.
But I used to watch stuff and I'd be like, I don't even feel bad for watching this. This is awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
Fuck the haters.
I just kept it a secret. I was like, that's stupid.
It's awesome what they.
In the 80s, it was worse.
Oh,
you had to,
Oh yeah, Transformers and.
It's just if you like. Geeky nerd stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you kept it to yourself.
Nerd. Yeah.
Oh, you like Batman? Gross.
Yeah, there were two Steves.
Yeah.
The one that was at school, and then the one that was at home reading comics.
Yeah, sports ball.
Right.
Make a touchdown.
See, and when I was, late 80s, when I was in like middle school, it was, me and a select few, we were like, oh, let's make our own comic book characters. Yeah. And I mean, we like,
that's
kind
awesome.
of found our own little like nerdy clique.
Yeah.
And then I remember me and this kid named Jason, no idea what ever happened to this guy. We would sit around, we'd fucking talk dinosaurs for all recess long, every day. Dinosaurs. So, I mean, I was a nerd through and through.
Right.
I was vice president of the science club, which I helped create.
Holy shit.
In my middle school.
Nice.
So, yeah.
You should be the main host for this show. I'm a phony. I kept it a secret. Yeah.
Isn't it funny to look back on that though? Like when we were, kids and like collecting comic books and stuff like that was considered like, oh, you're such a dork, you're a nerd and everything like that. And now everyone is like, oh yeah, Iron Man.
Yeah.
All this stuff from like the MCU, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm such a nerd. I watch She-Hulk.
And all they know is the cinematic versions of things,
Yeah.
Right.
Whereas I'm critiquing the cinematic version of things. Well, no, he wouldn't do that.
That's not accurate.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
Excellent.
That's so out of character. It's just, forget it. I'm out.
You're like, guys, Bucky's alive. Like, yeah, man.
Their lightsaber's not supposed to be that color.
Growing up, it was the comic books or my favorite were the trading cards, the comic book trading cards.
God, yes.
And I remember, being
so many of those.
4th grade, maybe it was, and trading from that first series of the Marvel trading cards, trading an Archangel card for a Wolverine patch card.
Nice.
And thinking I had scored it huge because that Wolverine patch card was awesome.
Big.
Good stuff. I remember the 89 Batman trading cards from the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's usually how I discovered things was the movie came first, and then I got excited and went to the comics and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But,
What was the first comic book you remember buying?
It was probably a Fantastic Four from maybe around 76 or 7.
Okay. All right. Wow. I remember like getting them occasionally, but the first one I remember like picking out and buying. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it was like Spider-Man 361.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So the first appearance of Carnage.
Yeah.
It was that, and then right around the same time, I remember picking up the Punisher comic when he turned black for a few issues. with Luke Cage.
Yeah.
What?
You don't know that storyline?
No.
Yeah, he accidentally killed a police officer, had to go on the run, went to a plastic surgeon / heroin addict, and had her kind of give him some plastic surgery to escape, and she turned him into a black man.
Coming to Disney Plus.
Yeah.
and he then left New York and went to Chicago to hide out, where he meets Luke Cage. And he and Luke Cage had this little 3-issue adventure, which then spun into Luke Cage's own 20-issue run.
Right.
And then by the end of his adventure with Luke Cage, he fades back into White Punisher.
Yeah.
I mean, the 90s were a different time. Yeah. I mean,
yeah, you're just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. But,
yeah.
And when I was a kid, though, we lived in Omaha, and by our apartments that we lived in at the time, there was a 7-Eleven. And so there was my elementary school, walk into 7-Eleven, and then home. And they had them on the newsstand. They had a big rack of comics, so that's when it started, it was in the 70s, and it was Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, Batman, and Superman. Those are kind of the 4 mains, and if I could pick up something else goofy, I would, but sure. Those were fun days.
That's where I first discovered that that G.I. Joe was even a comic book. Was a Quick Trip on Southeast 14th Street. I think it's maybe now a Mexican grocery store or something. But anyway, remember going up there and picking up a G.I. Joe comic, and growing up on the cartoon where they shoot lasers and everyone parachutes out safely. And this first issue was Death of the Battle Force 2000. I'm oh, wow. Open up and 6 people just bite it. Sneak peek gets gunned down in the street. And I'm oh, this shit's different.
This is dark.
I was hooked after that on that comic series. I was all in.
Man.
My cousin got me into comics, I think, because he had a great collection, and he took me to my first comic book stores, and I think I picked out the wrong comics because I was there was just so much.
Yeah, it's a lot.
But I definitely loved the movie adaptation comics for the Batman movies, which gave away the whole movie.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's why they stopped making those comics.
Yeah. Or they released them after.
Yeah, right.
Well, and Marvel did a lot of those too. I remember having a Star Trek 6 comic book.
Oh shit!
An adaptation one, and then they had some really weird ones. They had Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Yep, I think I
remember having that one. And
Death of Superman. That was the first time I actually went out and Target acquired. I'm buying a lot of these because I'm gonna be rich, and they're $30 now for a break.
As a regular to comic stores at the time, that was the worst time.
Yeah.
To be a comic fan was just because, you're going in there for your normal crap.
Yep.
There's lines stretched out the door of people who don't give a shit about comics.
Right.
Just wanting the issue.
Yeah, they saw it on 2020. And I just have to have
They think they're going to retire early on it.
And it's even then, I'm he's coming back, right? You guys know that, right?
They're not going to kill off their...
No, that reminds me of a Robot Chicken sketch. Where, it's Batman's giving a eulogy, and it's Green Arrow died.
Oh, yeah.
And he's up there, he's no, you know what? Screw this. How many here, raise your hand, have died and come back to life?
Everybody
raises their hand, and then Green Arrow's in the back.
Well, one of the things that largely drove me out of comics is that exactly where it's not even about telling stories. It's marketing.
Yeah,
that's what they're doing. Is they're marketing these characters.
It's events now too.
It is. That's the other thing too. I tried to get back into comics just a few years ago, and right away it's event after event after event, and I'm I just want to read one or two or three titles. I don't want to have to collect everything, because that's what drove me out of it in the late, I guess early 2010s. When I got out of it, is because it was event after event after event, and I'm buying shitty crossovers written by shitty authors.
I want to say
it'll all get changed in 6 months, and
I want to say because my dad and I were collecting, big into collecting Spider-Man and stuff like that, and I want to say what stopped our comic collection was the Clone Saga for Spider-Man.
Oh, well, that's what kind of stopped 90s comic. I mean, that's what really burst that bubble altogether.
It was okay, you have to... It doesn't just follow in one series. You've got Web of Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, Spider-Man Adventures of Peter Parker, like whatever the Spectacular Spider-Man, all the other shit.
Well, I think with that,
Mary
it was
Jane's
supposed to be a certain number of issues, and they're like, let's expand it, and then
Let's
made it
do
like
it for a
100
year.
more issues.
Right.
Yeah.
And it became a convoluted mess, and I do think that was largely what killed the comics
Well, and then they
in
had,
the 90s.
Every issue, they had a variant cover. They had ones that would like, if you buy all 4 covers, you can put them together and make this little mini poster. I'm like,
I still don't like variant covers today. I don't like variant covers.
Yeah.
I don't like the fact, because I can't tell you how many times, especially with a lot of Marvel titles now, I've noticed is they don't put right on the front what the issue number is. It's like hidden on the back.
What?
And so you pick up and I'm like, I don't have this issue, and then I take it home and I've got
You have
that
it,
issue.
yeah.
And it's just a variant cover, and they put it on the back in some weird print that I'm not good at looking at, is knowing even what issue I'm buying. So comics.
Yeah.
Well, DC's
Comics
crazy
are annoying
now
to me
too,
now.
right? I mean,
It's all terrible,
They've
and
rebooted the
sales
universe
today
so many
are,
times.
I mean, I've stopped reading all current with the exception of Spawn.
right.
And it's only because it's still very true to its roots, and it's it's basically standalone storytelling, and it's fun. It's always great art to look at.
It's part of Image, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And is Image itself doing pretty well? Do you know, or are they?
They have more titles in the top 50 than DC does.
Wow.
And I think Image is still doing. They're still doing it relatively right. I think where it's not about, because it's a lot of it is like small self-contained miniseries from independent creators. It's riskier titles, but it's not event crossover after event crossover. You don't have that. You don't have to read 30 issues of comics to understand a 6-issue run of Chew or whatever may have been.
Exactly.
And so I think Image is doing it, I think, relatively right. And there's something to be said, I think, for that long form serialized storytelling, but I think a lot of it gets lost, especially because nowadays the storytelling aspect is so decompressed because they're not telling 1-issue stories, they're telling 6-issue stories because it's got to fit into a graphic novel.
Right.
And that's what they're telling stories as now. And I miss the old days where you could open up a single issue of a Spider-Man comic and not have to have read anything before it to kind of, and if you want to maybe enhance your understanding, there's little editor notes and say, hey, see this issue for that backstory or whatever.
Yeah.
I really miss that when you could pick up an issue of something and know exactly what was going on.
Right.
Because that's how it was in the 90s.
Yeah. And it got to, I remember back in the day where it was like, if it went past 3 issues in one story, it was like, wow, this is a big deal,
like Punisher turning into a black man.
Right,
3 issues.
But back then, I don't know how many times. I mean, I love the old Batman stories where it was just self-contained, 1, maybe 2 issues. Story in a row, and that was it. And and then next month, what's going to happen next month? It's something new and different. And
I do. I really miss that from
today.
the 80s and 90s. I think that's something that I enjoyed about comic reading at that time, because it's so not friendly for new readers either to go to a comic book shop and pick up a comic book.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, and this is why I say that it's all about marketing now, because they try to do that. So what happens is, in the movies, Black Panther becomes a woman. So what's going to happen in the comics? Black Panther becomes a woman. What happens in, Thor? Granted, with Thor, it was kind of a little reversed, where Jane already had the power. Anyway. But what's happening now is the comic books oftentimes are mirroring the
cinematic partners.
Partners.
Out of laziness, pretty much, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, we're out of ideas. We'll just borrow from these creative types.
And I would hate, and I, as someone who again enjoys writing, I would hate to be a writer and be told, oh, hey, by the way, now
you're completely pigeonholed into writing what you're told to write.
Oh, hey, I know you've been writing Spider-Man for however long, but now Peter Parker's no longer Spider-Man, and it's somebody else for a little bit. I'd be like, this is some bullshit.
Yeah.
So, especially, I'd be like, I'm not paid enough for this.
Yeah.
Right. And Punisher, no, we're not going back to that, Phil. Okay.
Yeah. I'd be like, wait, Punisher be a black man again?
That's crazy.
Not in 2023.
No.
Right.
At least not going about it that way.
Oh my God. There's so much stuff. Oh, those are probably impossible to find, I imagine. Those.
I bet they're
like the Song
they're
of the
probably
South
in any
comics.
I bet you could find them in like the quarter bins somewhere.
Wow, that's insane. I'm sure there's so many other storylines that are
I mean that's just one that comes to mind.
Yeah.
There was a lot of
it's pretty
there was a lot of
crazy.
zany shit back in the day that they were able to get away with. They can't now.
Of course.
A lot of psychedelics.
Oh, Jesus. Well, I mean, of course, kick off our reviews recommendations, Better Comics. So we can start with that, right?
Hey, this is your boy Ray Vex. Just wanted to give a big shout out to one of my all-time favorite shows, the Feel the Geeks podcast, man. Congratulations on 200 episodes. And you know, the best part of the show is you really do feel like you're just hanging out with your friends and your fellow geek mates. That and the super catchy theme song, you know what I mean? Anyway, so Josh, Bill, Mitch, sometimes Megan, y'all did good. Not the podcast you want, but the podcast you deserve. The Feel the Geeks podcast, baby. Congratulations on 200 episodes. Peace.
Going around reviews, recommendations, anyone?
So I had the unfortunate experience of watching the first 2 episodes of Velma.
I haven't seen
it has about as much to do with Scooby-Doo as the Netflix Resident Evil had to do with Resident Evil.
Ooh.
Is Scooby-Doo even in it?
No.
Right.
But Scooby-Doo does not not even.
This is like real world, right? But not really. I mean, it's totally.
I don't fucking know what they're trying to do with this thing.
It's the Harley Quinn treatment, the HBO Max Harley Quinn show. That's basically what they're trying to do, right?
Well, it's like there's so many meta jokes in it. Like every 5 seconds, there's a meta joke, and it's like, do you get it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
a lot of that writing now.
Like, you know, you got the Shaggy character who goes by his real name and is like black or something now. I don't know. But he like goes, no, I don't like doing drugs or something like that.
Oh, right to the camera?
Yeah. So it's kind of like, you know, Shaggy's no longer the stoner character. And
right.
I don't know. They're doing so much weird shit with it. It's not even like, there's not even anything in it that made me like chuckle ironically.
Yeah.
Or anything like that. And it's, how do you take the Scooby-Doo property and take Scooby-Doo out of it?
Right.
Exactly.
Like, how does that, that's like, I don't know. Anyway,
right.
Don't fucking watch it.
I was hoping they would find him or something and he would join or...
I don't know. I'm probably going to skip it. Did you guys ever see the Scooby-Doo cartoon from like, I think it was this one from 2010.
No,
Mystery Incorporated.
Oh, it rings a bell. Yeah.
Where it had like a lot of those kind of meta in jokes, but a lot of it worked for that cartoon.
Right.
Because I thought it was really well done.
Sure. So. And it stayed probably kid-friendly a little bit?
A little bit, but it was enough that adults could watch it too.
Right. So. This one's like gore too, right? Like people are falling out, like people are dying in high school, right? They're
there's like...
And there's jokes all around the death, you know, because...
And really, Velma's just a total bitch. She's like, you know, making fun of people or saying like, oh, this person sucks and blah, blah, blah. Like, it's... I don't know what Mindy Kaling was thinking.
Yeah, because she's like, this is her baby, kind of.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck she was thinking, but...
Right.
Good God.
I mean, I think it already got renewed for season 2. So, yeah, I don't know.
And it's...
They're probably just forcing it. Like, you're going to like it.
Granted, there's not a lot on HBO Max to counteract this.
And
but I think it's like the worst.
Yeah, they're taking more programming off, too. DC stuff, especially.
It's the worst rated overall series, but it's the highest rated animated series, which is like the only fucking animated series they have on HBO Max.
Oh, yeah, it's true. Yeah. Well,
who cares?
Even over Harley Quinn? I guess, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. It almost got a lot more attention than Harley Quinn did.
I'm sure it got this like bump because people want to check it out, and then it's probably going to just...
Yeah, like I have seen so many people watch it because they've heard of how bad it is that they want to like check it out for themselves to see it's like... Can it really be as bad? Is it really as bad as what Bill is saying? So I'm going to go home and maybe put on an episode.
Right.
Go, yeah, no.
It's like if
I'm going to take Bill's word for it.
Yeah. Bill was not wrong.
Right.
I don't have time.
It's kind of like if HBO made Big Mouth or something. If you've ever seen that on Netflix, it's kind of like, you know, I don't know. It's stoner humor, but without the humor.
Right.
It's just, you want to get stoned so you can forget the fact that you actually want.
I just hate the writing that they have to explain the joke. It's like, you should get the joke, and if you don't get it, then move on, you know?
Yeah.
Assumed idiocy of the audience, right?
Right. Yeah. It's like, looks stupid.
They even like, I think even in the promotional stuff, they were making fun of they made some like joke about like making fun of fans of like beloved characters.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And it's just, I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
Just because you write it in your diary on Twitter does not mean it needs to go into an HBO Max animated series.
Yeah.
Mindy. Stick to Office appearances or whatever.
So that's not recommended.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Fuck were you thinking? God. Something good from HBO
Yeah.
is Last of Us.
Oh, yeah.
I was surprised how much I enjoyed that show because I sort of went into it, I like the video game, but I also remember how The Walking Dead made me feel.
Yeah.
And so I kind of went into it with a little apprehension and being like, and I hope it doesn't end up making me feel like The Walking Dead made me feel, like just like hollowed out inside, hating my life.
It lasted for 20 years, so it's overdone.
You know what we were saying with Cobra Kai, the like sweet spot of a series, like 5 to 6 seasons.
Yep.
It should not have gone 11 seasons with The Walking Dead. Like you said, felt hollowed out by the time.
No, that was one of those shows where I got all into it for like a season or two, and then I took a break.
Yeah.
Went back and watched another 1 or 2 seasons and then took a break. And then I went back and watched another, and then I'm just like, I can't do it. This show just makes me feel awful.
Right.
Like I cannot. There's nothing about this show that I enjoy. Right. I don't like the characters.
No redeeming qualities.
I don't like their behavior. I don't like the choices they're making.
Right.
Nothing about the show I enjoy. And so I've given up entirely, and I have no interest in going back and watching it again.
Well, yeah, and that's what I felt about when they were making this Last of Us. Like, I'm a little familiar with the game, but I was like, I'm so zombied out. I mean, what else new can you do? And just the trailer alone showed me new things, I thought, and just the way they were handling it, I liked it.
Yeah, see, initially I was kind of thinking that too. I'm like, I don't want to see this shit. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Because they announced it shortly after Last of Us 2 came out, I want to say, and Last of Us 2 sucked. Like that, you totally ruined everything that was good about The Last of Us Part 1. Mm-hmm. But then I saw the trailer, and I saw the clickers and stuff like that, like the different characters in it, and they didn't look like the cheap, shitty CGI that Resident Evil did.
Right.
So I was like, okay, this actually looks pretty accurate.
Threw money at it, yeah.
Yeah.
Pedro Pascal, of course, too. Can't go wrong.
Now, I only watched the first episode.
Yeah.
Which I think is the only episode that's out right now. Right?
I think it comes out on Sunday nights, so we should have more tonight.
Yeah, but, I want to catch it.
Yeah, I think I was skeptical that he would make a good Joel, but he made a perfect Joel, I thought.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
There's not many video game adaptations that get done right. So far, I'm impressed.
Yeah, good.
What video game property do you really want to see adapted into a series? This question's for everybody.
If you've got Sonic the Hedgehog.
No, I'm kidding. No, I'm just kidding. That's been so overdone. My God. I would almost like to see Silent Hill done in like the style of American Horror Story.
Okay.
Like where maybe one game is one season.
Yep.
Or something like that. They're not necessarily connected. I would really like to see Resident Evil done right, but we're never going to get that. Far Cry, I think would be a good, especially, oh God, I'm a huge Michael Mando fan. That's why I binge watched the shit out of Better Call Saul, but I would love to see him reprise his role as Vas Montenegro. I don't think you need to do Far Cry 1 and 2 because they just had really shitty storylines, but like Far Cry 3, I'd love to see adapted. I think that'd be cool. I don't know.
Halo, that'd be great.
I think they've done
Halo.
They've done some Halo.
I'm kidding.
Series.
Paramount Plus has done
Paramount
Halo.
Plus has a series.
Season
That's what I was so worried about.
Killer Instinct.
Okay, another CBR article kind of thing.
Yeah.
But when this was getting ready to come out, they were like, they don't care about it being comic or being accurate to the video game. And the only the people that were actually involved with the video game franchise are involved in this. And the only comment he made, I think, was, well, in the game, if you step around a corner and you get your throat ripped out by a zombie, you just restart and go back to the last checkpoint. You can't do that with a video. With
yeah.
TV series.
4 hours.
Yeah.
Like,
the main character doesn't respawn 9 times because they can't get past a certain boss.
You know what I
They don't
really
care.
want? You know what I really want in my series? Every 5 minutes, I want to see that little loading thing going in the corner that says they're being quick saved.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That way you can go back and revive Carl if he gets shot. No, I'm just kidding.
The Halo series is visually impressive.
Yeah.
I haven't.
Yes,
I haven't seen that.
The
yet.
writing's not that great, or
I was kind of worried that it was
lackluster.
going to be like that. Like they were just going to throw a bunch of pretty looking shit at you. And
Yeah.
Well, he takes his helmet off. That's a big no-no, isn't it?
Master Chief has never shown his
Face in
face
video games.
in the video games.
But in the show, it's like episode 1.
I don't know.
It's like,
It's like Sylvester Stallone from Judge
yes.
Dredd. He's like, here I am.
Yep. Right.
Yeah.
Yep. I think that's dumb.
I would love.
Actors want to be seen. They don't want to be seen.
I
in a
know.
helmet.
Yeah. I would
Hire a
love.
stunt double or a stunt guy. Just
And that's why Carl Urban was the better Judge Dredd.
Yeah, agreed.
right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Good
not
for
the
him.
only reason, but one
Good
of
for
the
him to have
one
an ego.
big
Like
reason.
I want to show my face.
Yeah.
Like he loved the character.
Speaking of Urban, I would love a like a Doom series if you did it right.
Oh God, yes.
I would love even like a Wolfenstein series set back during like World War II. Could be sweet.
Why aren't you guys showrunners? Come on, guys. Put your resume out there.
And then even give me like
Wolfenstein would be, I think, would be
Deus Ex or
really
something.
fantastic to do as a series.
I think there's a lot you could do with that, like storytelling wise.
Yeah.
No, that would be awesome.
What about you, Steve? You got anything?
Now that hasn't already been said, I mean, I just finished Elden Ring.
He keeps talking about how old he is, so I'm expecting like Pong.
Right. If we can get a Pong series.
What we do, guys.
Right.
We got 2 tribes.
Yeah.
I'd really.
Can we bring asteroids to life?
I'd really like Pitfall.
Yeah.
It's so repetitive. Destiny, you'd probably want Destiny, right? Or has that been done?
It's not been done like from a movie or anything like that, but it's that's so much insane lore.
Yeah.
No one would understand it.
Right.
I mean, there's no audience that would
Not
want
yet,
to
right?
understand that backstory.
Yeah.
There's, before I started Destiny 2, I was like, okay, I'm going to go and just see like what happened like leading up to this point. Like a 200-page document.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, there's so much crap to it.
I mean, I played that game.
crap.
I was a
Here's
beta
the
player.
Notes, bam.
I was a beta player all the way through Destiny 2 for like 2+ years, and we're talking religious daily, almost playing
Yeah.
nightfalls every week, raid completions. I mean, I was
Jesus.
a complete psychotic at that game.
All right, I've never heard of this game.
It was made by the guys who made Halo.
Okay,
They kind of splintered off into their own studio,
but is it like a first person shooter?
it's very Halo like.
Okay.
Kind of like Halo meets Star Wars almost a little bit. And it is a phenomenal. The playing mechanics are amazing. I mean, it's a fun game.
Yeah.
But the lore is. I mean, even I just got to the point where it's like, all right, there's new armor sets and weapons and builds. I'm focusing on that. I don't care about this backstory. And then and I had to stop cold turkey.
It stopped at 2 though, right? They haven't done anything since.
No, because what they do is they just continue to add content and
just like
different
GTA,
seasons.
sort of.
And,
Yeah. Yep. Gotcha.
But see, it's gotten to the point where I haven't played in so long. They've had new content that they've removed from the game to make room for new content.
Oh wow!
So there's stuff I'll never have played. If
Right.
I wanted to get back into it.
Right.
But I do not. So, but it was a great game. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Right. You had fun
I just
with it.
had a great time with it, but I had to stop
Right.
because it was becoming I'm very OCD.
Yeah. Right.
And very much of a completionist. And if I don't finish, I had to stop. It was
It just never ends.
It was never ends,
like,
and
I gotta
it was
stop.
Yeah, it was crazy town.
Right. Yeah.
But I did finish Elden Ring in less than 3 weeks.
Nice.
With 183 hours in the game.
Jesus. He came out of his basement.
I've heard it.
Yeah, he's like,
God.
the light.
Yeah.
Natural light. I'm burning.
But the LED behind my TV that matches to what's on the TV.
Oh yeah, that's so cool.
Sweet.
Oh,
yeah,
dude.
I love that.
Dude, we used to have a TV that had the ambient lighting. It was in an old, like a huge old Philips that we had. That was actually really cool for the time. I mean, it was definitely a product of its time.
Yeah.
But
Probably weighed like what, 200 pounds or something.
that was a heavy TV. Yeah.
Shelf's just like, yeah. Megan, I saw Megan.
She's not here today, is she?
No, not that Megan. No. Yeah. Well, I joked when that poster came out. I put it on our shared group there. This stars Allison Williams. Of course, this is it's like Chucky, but not. It's more of an AI centric. It's probably what the Chucky remake was going for. Yeah. But it's basically a robotics engineer builds a lifelike doll to comfort her orphan niece, and it becomes self-aware and very protective of that niece. And so it's kind of like it's a nice short story, I would say. I mean, it's an hour and 40, but it feels like a Twilight episode. It feels like it's a warning, don't depend on AI technology. I think it really wakes you up, like parents, I hope. I mean, I know it's just supposed to be an entertaining film, but as I was watching it, I'm like, holy shit, I can see so many parents buying something like this in real life for their kid and just bye-bye.
Did you come home and take away your daughter's Furbies?
No. No.
Throw Alexa in the trash.
Yeah, I know we got those for Christmas. Jeez. Luckily, they don't have arms and legs yet, so we're okay. But no, it was a good...
Exactly.
Yeah, I know.
Until they build their own.
Right. Right. Oh, shit, yeah. Yeah, do this. No. Yeah, and they can kick your ass. But yeah, Blumhouse put this out. They make movies nice and cheap, and they make all their money back. But yeah, it was a good time, and yeah, good message there about AI technology, scary shit. We have an engineer in the family, and she's like, "Yeah, we're probably a couple years away from that." Yeah. It's really scary. Yeah. So I think that's what's kind of like the appeal of it. Like, damn, this is really realistic in a way. But
Matrix is real.
Yeah, not quite. But, well, yeah, perhaps. I don't know. But no, it was a good time, and it was really good. There's the Megan dance you've seen out there. It's popular. It's just a fun little movie, and they're gonna make more. So I won't say how they're setting that up, but yeah, it's
nice.
It's making some good money.
I'm gonna go check it out. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe next
check it out too.
Cheap movie night.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, it's good. Yeah.
Stimulus Tuesdays.
It's not just like slasher like Chucky was. It's there's like reasonings and things like that, and
kind of seemed like it was a little more of like a psychological horror kind of thing.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Saw like one little clip from it where she's like got the mom like pinned down on like an arm bar kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
Like just totally normal.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's good. It's a good premise, and it's I just hopefully they won't overdo it, but they probably will. So who knows? It's Blumhouse. They usually are kind of careful.
Yeah, they're not. They don't. I mean, because I'm trying to think what they've done where they went like crazy on the sequels.
Well, they did the Halloween, the new trilogy. That was
right, but that was I think. More
you mean like the the Saws and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Not sure. But they've done a ton of...
They seem to be a little more grounded.
Yeah, they're very... Yeah, they want to make a good product, it seems, for the budget especially. And I think they with Universal did the Invisible Man, the new... And they're doing some other
which
adaptations.
I like that was a decent...
Yeah, that was a nice little thriller.
Movie.
Yeah. Not too much.
There was a couple twists in there I didn't see. I was like, I didn't see that coming.
Right.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
Yeah. Yeah, because before that we had the Kevin Bacon one. The Hollow Man.
Hey,
that was kind of Invisible Man.
I like that too. And Paul Verhoeven, he's a horny little Dutchman or whatever he is.
Shit, yeah.
I enjoyed that movie too.
Right. Yeah.
I think that movie was very much about what Paul Verhoeven would do if he had the power of invisibility.
Like all his movies, RoboCop, and what do you do?
Basic Instinct.
Yep. Starship Troopers. Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to definitely check out Megan. I did see Plane last week.
Gerard Butler's latest action film.
Yep. And then the guy that plays Luke Cage.
Yeah, that was cool. Good for him.
It was enjoyable.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were looking just to like shut your brain off on a winter evening and watch popcorn flick, it was fun.
Yeah.
So actually, and like my wife, she was probably the most apprehensive about it because I showed her the trailer and she's like, "Oh, this looks dumb." And I was like, let's go. Just it was like Wednesday night.
Butler's
it was
face came on the screen.
It was like snowing like 5 or 6 inches outside. There wasn't really anything else to do, so we went to the theater, and all of us loved it. I mean, we all liked it.
Yeah,
so it was fun.
Nice. Good time.
And it's nice to see it. Like I think the thing my wife liked about it is the action sequences, like the especially the fighting scene or scenes were like more realistic than what you're used to, because Gerard Butler's kind of playing that everyman, he's not he's not a trained killer. He's not a former Navy SEAL. I mean, he was like an RAF pilot or something like that. So he was just like an Air Force pilot kind of guy.
Right.
And so the fight choreography had a kind of a certain brutality to it that felt more real.
Right.
I think than what you get from a lot of movies these days. And so that's what, my wife liked that part of it. It was a quick watch. I mean, it's not a long movie by any means, but no, it was fun. I enjoyed it.
Nice. Yeah, it looked pretty decent, I thought. Yeah. What about you, Steve?
Yeah, I agree.
No, I mean, you had...
Do I have what?
You had The Recruit, right?
The Recruit was on Netflix. It was really good. It was, I want to say 8-episode season. And it's kind of that comedic drama type action deal. I mean, it really traverses into different genres very well, because that's hard to do sometimes, and or you'll watch something thinking, well, this should just be all comedy because it's kind of funny, but the action sucks. This was really good in all fronts. This kid is a CIA lawyer who gets roped into the field, and not just roped into the field, but we're talking like Budapest, and he has to go to these places where he's legitimately in a lot of danger, and but he's kind of a little, I mean, the quirk that every main character has, right, is they have a quirk.
Yeah.
His is basically that he's pretty fearless,
Yeah.
So even when he's way out of his element or league, he still just doesn't give a shit. He's just
Now, is it like an aloofness, or is it more of an
it's more of a mental illness.
Okay.
I mean, they really lead into his backstory a lot, and about how like his friends that are not in the CIA, I mean, they're just aware that his risky behavior is leading him down just a bad path, and he has a history of it, and so it's not an aloofness, it's just, it's almost like I think he lost a parent, and he's just kind of on a downward mental spiral.
Yeah, and so
it's not as crazy. He's not crazy,
right? It's just like a blatant disregard for his own safety.
Yeah, he just doesn't care. Yeah, so if he dies, he dies.
Right.
So he might as well just try and do whatever he has to do. And if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, he doesn't care.
Yeah.
But it is really well played, and then even the supporting actors and actresses.
Yep.
Phenomenal work. I mean, it was really well done. I was surprised. I mean, it was one of those where after one episode, I told because usually we're like one episode a day.
Yeah.
Of a show, and we're done. Right. Because work and everything. Yeah, right. This is when we watched the first 3 episodes in a row.
Nice.
It was good.
I do, if it has, because it doesn't sound like it, I mentioned this, earlier, it doesn't sound like it follows the movie.
Right, no.
So it's weird that it just has the same title.
That's what I thought.
And CIA is kind of an overlapping theme there.
So then which one's more true, right? Because wasn't it a book?
Oh, well, maybe. I don't know.
It was.
Yeah.
All I know is the movie was...
Was it Tom Clancy, maybe?
No,
it wasn't a Clancy.
No,
okay.
Clancy.
No. Okay.
All I know is the movie
it was Colin Farrell's
terrible.
First time out, he's hot shit, before he kind of got his ass kicked, and then he came back, and he's like a great actor now. People all kind of respect, but
Pacino, it was not an enjoyable film,
right? Yeah, it was just kind of like, oh look, he's hot, and watch the movie, okay.
And the exposition that Al Pacino spews at the end of it, no spoilers, in case no one's seen this 20-year-old movie, but it's just like. He just pukes exposition all over the end of this thing. It was worse than a Bond villain.
Yeah,
I mean, it was just terrible.
Man, yeah,
right.
Yeah, I'd recommend it. The Recruit on
probably
Netflix.
Totally different. Yeah, watch the series, not the film.
Pretty good.
I might actually. Too much football on today, so I won't be watching it today.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Got a lot of big games to watch today.
There's so much.
I think it got renewed for a second season.
Nice.
Oh, good.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Well, good. Yeah. Hopefully it stays pretty solid there. Yeah.
I hope so.
I need to check that out.
They left it on a pretty cool part, and it was it was a fun one to watch.
Great.
Yep.
I love that. The new Night Court, I caught that. I don't know if any of you saw that.
I haven't. I did. I watched the old one quite a bit.
Yep.
So.
Well, I don't really watch a lot of, primetime network television anymore. And this one I was actually really excited to see. They did their job well on the marketing and stuff.
It was pretty funny.
I thought it was pretty good. It was a little...
It was very... it really matched the tone of the original.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, only John Larroquette's back.
That helps a lot.
But and I've only seen the first of the pilot. I haven't seen the second episode or whatever, and I didn't see it live. I saw it on Peacock.
Sure.
I couldn't sleep one night, and I'm like, I'm gonna watch this.
It's on NBC and Peacock.
It's on NBC and Peacock, and so I watched that, and it was it was a pretty nice throwback.
Yeah,
I think to those old sitcom type days.
Yeah,
it certainly didn't take itself seriously. You know, just a lot of one-liners, a lot. You know, it was a fun 20 minutes.
Yeah,
you know, I'd watch it. I'd watch the next one.
A ratings triumph. So I'm really happy about that. I hope we can bring. I guess Roz from the original is still alive. I thought all of them were gone, but John.
I think Bull.
Yes,
he's
alive. Still alive. Yeah. So it'd be great to see them come back somehow. Bull probably won't want to shave his head anymore.
Yeah,
he might be naturally bald at this point.
I don't know. Last time he was full head of hair and beard. Wow. Totally different than his character. So I'm sure he loved doing that. He's like, fuck, this show's going to be on again? Like, all right.
I haven't seen the old one in a long time to know whether or not it's aged well. Like, because there's some sitcoms out there that I think have aged better than others.
Yeah.
And I'll go back and try and watch, like, I don't know, an episode of Wings. And I'm like, that hasn't really aged very well.
Yeah.
Wings hasn't.
I was kind of thinking about this the other day. Like, how much I loved Married with Children, and how much that would not work today.
Oh God, yeah.
It'd be safe, even right? I mean, they wouldn't do half the things.
Even your Seinfeld or your Friends wouldn't work today. Those are super popular still.
Yeah,
but you couldn't get away with some of that stuff that they got away with.
Yeah, I still enjoy. I know a lot of the creators are apologizing now. It's like that was a different time. Like, shut up. Like, you did good stuff. It wasn't like
we keep judging the past on what the present looks like.
Right.
And that's not a fair comparison.
I still love Friends. My kids like discovered it, and it was kind of nice.
I still watch it all the time. Yeah, again, I don't believe in guilty pleasures. It's just a pleasure. Like,
it's not Shakespeare, but it's
show.
If I'm eating a sandwich and I only have like 20 minutes and I gotta go do something else, I throw on an old Seinfeld.
You know, what is the one I just threw on the other day? I was eating a sandwich. Oh, Step by Step.
Oh my God!
It's on HBO Max.
Nice.
And another one that hasn't aged super well, but you know, whatever.
Yeah,
Night Court had good nostalgia value.
Yeah,
and it wasn't trying to overly be the first one, the original Night Court.
Yeah,
but you know, I mean, the premise is. So Melissa Rauch is she's the daughter of Harry.
Abby Stone, I believe.
And that's the new judge.
Yep, okay. She's the new judge.
All right.
And she recruits John Larroquette's character Dan Fielding to come back and
I would say arguably he was the best part of the show.
Yeah, I think without him it would have had that
and then in the pilot too. It was like, oh shit.
It was so funny when I first saw the advertisement for it. I actually had to look at I was like, man, I could have swore he passed away too. I thought but I was confusing him with Phil Hartman.
Gee, yeah.
And so I had to like look it up, and I was like, oh no, John Larroquette's still around.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I just hadn't seen him in forever.
He's great.
He was quality in that pilot episode.
He was, yeah. Right. I think it was a little bit bumpy, but I do see a lot of potential.
Yeah, those pilots. I'm usually forgiving of pilots.
Yeah,
because like the first half of a first season.
Yeah,
I'm kind of like
they're still finding
it takes a while to find their groove.
Right.
Yeah,
because once people see it, that's how they get an idea of what to change and all that stuff. And
there's been a lot of shows where I've watched the pilot. I'm like, ooh, that sucked. And then like the next episode, I'm like, oh no, I'm just
here we go.
This is good.
Yeah, no, I thought it flowed pretty naturally, and they had a cool second episode. I'm not going to give away, but at the end there was like, oh shit, how'd they get the rights to do that? But you'll see. But yeah, it's got a lot of the sets look identical still.
Yeah.
So real life. Yeah,
the theme song, classic theme song from the 80s.
Yep.
It's a shorter version, updated.
It's good.
John Larroquette's son did it.
Yeah, I found that out about that interview he did with like Seth Meyers.
That was really cool.
It was good because I heard about the talk of it before, and I heard it, and I was like, oh, how's this going to sound?
Right.
It's really it's smooth. It's pretty good. So if anything, it'll get you to want to watch the original. But yeah, 2 episodes in, I'm hooked, and I'll probably keep tuning in because I don't have Peacock, so I'll have to like network television.
Have to watch it. Yeah,
I think you can watch Peacock for free. You just don't get all the movies and crap.
There's only a select.
Right. So I think
I think we subscribe to it like everything else out there right now.
That's crazy. It's just so much.
My subscriptions surpassed what my cable bill was back in the day.
By now, right?
You try to save money by dropping cable and you end up paying way more.
Right.
I know. The 90s show I checked out on Netflix. It premiered 10 episodes that are out there right now. I don't know if you guys were big 70s show fans.
I liked it.
I
liked it.
was
It was all right.
Now I didn't hate it, but
Any episode that Mitch Hedberg guest starred on,
Yeah.
I enjoyed.
yeah, I gave it a shot. I've heard kind of mixed things a little bit, and it's a new group of kids, and they had the 80s show, which didn't include any of the characters we had because it was like they're on at the same time. But you have Kirkwood Smith returning and Deborah Jo Rupp as Red and Kitty, Eric's parents, and of course the show is Eric and Donna's daughter Leia. I thought it was he's a huge Star Wars fan, and I didn't even catch it at first. I'm like, oh shit, Leia.
Yeah,
that's cool. So yeah, I gave it one episode, and I liked it. I really did like it.
Is there a lot of 80s nostalgia?
Well, this is 90s.
Or 90s nostalgia,
yes.
rather? Okay.
And how we were talking about writing earlier, about wink, wink, there is a few scenes where I'm like, just seeing that, I don't need you to explain.
Yeah.
I'll just say one of them's drinking a Zima. And you see it, because they have those classic round table camera shots again. Yeah. And Eric's drinking a Zima, right? And I'm like, please don't say Zima. I can see it. I like that. And then Donna's like, that's enough Zima for you. And I'm like, all right, we don't need the name drops. Like,
right, it just forces it.
Yeah, it's like, but I mean,
remember that? That was a thing.
Right.
Yeah.
This existed in the 90s.
Right. But they brought up 90s things I totally forgot about in the show. And I was like, this is pretty clever. I think in the new groups, the first episode is, it's amped up a lot, and so there's a lot of familiarity with these characters from the old ones. But then after it goes on, they kind of get their own groove and, character development. So they're not exactly carbon copies. So, and you get the original cast premiering or coming on. Obviously, one of them won't be there, going through some problems right now, rightfully so. But it takes place in 95, and so they got 5 years to work with some cool stuff to address.
Red Foreman's one of the best.
He's still great. Exist. Yeah, he's still good. Well, it was so refreshing at the time, because that's one of the things I loved growing up was these people you feared from other projects, like him from RoboCop.
Yeah, I'd say he'll always be the RoboCop,
right? Yeah,
even though he was way more of the dad longer than he was in RoboCop, but to me, he's always just going to be that villain from RoboCop.
I know, but it was so nice to be like, I can laugh at him. Yeah, this is good. He's making a joke, and he's nice in real life, and so it's one of those situations where it's refreshing and. Yeah, it's cool to have them back, and they just updated the sets to 90s, and it's cool. There's a lot of cool things. They went to a video store, one of them. I'm like, that's good stuff.
Good nostalgia there.
Yeah. So I liked it. It's on Netflix. Right. Check it out. I think you'll like it. But that's all I have. Recommendations, reviews. Go see Velma. No, don't go see Velma.
Don't watch
your own risk.
Velma.
Right.
If you do, demand your sanity back from Mindy Kaling.
Well, you have season 2 still, so maybe it'll get better. Maybe Scooby will come back and they'll do something terrible. I don't know.
She'll probably get pregnant with Shaggy's baby and it'll end up being Scooby or something. I don't know.
What?
Who the fuck knows?
Bestiality.
I identify as Scooby.
It's just a dude.
I go by the pronouns woof woof.
Oh, man.
On all levels but physical, I am a wolf.
That's season 3. Don't give it away.
Oh,
quick plugs and we're out, guys. So going around the room. Steve?
Hair plugs?
Sure. I'll take some.
Kidding. I don't have
any. I'll take some.
I need some.
Steve's comic blog.
It's been a while.
It's under construction, right?
It's under constant construction.
Yes, that's okay.
Yeah,
it's okay. You're moving beams and
right. I'm having a labor dispute right now.
Yes,
so we're trying to get that squared away, and something will happen with it someday.
Yes,
so. Excellent.
We'll check that out. Jonah,
I don't really have much to plug. I've been laying low. So
Twitch for All Ages is out there though.
It is still out there
under construction.
Sure. Yeah.
Maybe I'll help you out with it a little bit.
We use the same labor company.
Yeah.
There's a union problem.
Strike.
Right.
There's a labor dispute.
Yeah.
Materials just hard to. Too much to get into on this podcast.
We've got arbitration.
I'm just going to start bringing my toys onto the podcast.
There you go.
Using this
as
a format. So.
Well, apparently I'm using the same contractor because I'm having the same. No, I just got moved in.
I'll get my hard hat and I'll be right over.
Yeah. Just got moved in a little bit ago. Got my setup, kind of figured out. Working on some logistical stuff, but yeah.
Get the channel back up and rolling. Yeah.
YouTube.com.
Billy Creston.
Yeah.
At Billy Creston on YouTube.
Excellent. And of course,
Billy
Field of
Creston
Geeks.
Gaming,
Yes.
All that good shit.
All the good shit. Yes. Of course, Field of Geeks. Surprisingly, we're up and running. So,
yeah.
Website, that's probably the same contractor. So,
yep.
Yeah, a lot of that going around. But yeah, YouTube, you can find us all there. And all our channels, I'll put it in the show notes. Fieldofgeeks.com. Like I said, under construction. So, I think it's the Energy crew is who's working on it, right? And the energy and time.
Right.
Yeah. Two things I'm very short on right now.
Right. But anyway, thanks a lot, guys, for coming.
Yeah.
And
no problem.
Episode 200, man.
Episode 200 in the can.
Yep.
In the can.
The trash can. No, I'm just kidding. It's wrapped.
During the editing process, maybe a few times, fine.
We'll see, right?
See what I can
this
do.
was a good practice. Oh, man, we weren't recording the entire time.
Yeah.
We prep for the show. This is how we do it.
That contractor's fired.
Raven Xavier for our great song.
Yes.
And
thank you, Raven.
Yep.
All that he does.
Very cool.
Go check out his podcast. It's awesome.
It's very good. It's very good.
Ravex Music on YouTube.
Excellent. Yes. Well, with that said, we'll be back for 201. That's going to be crazy. I thought for sure I'd say today, episode 190.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But yeah, we will be back. I'm Josh.
I'm Bill.
I'm Jonah.
Steve.
Take care.